Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. We're live, and I'm coming at you straight on. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, and this is the very first day of Valorant at the Esports World Cup 2026. I want to welcome you all in and introduce my desk. We have the incredible Athena alongside my man, Mitch, better known as Pilsky in this world. Pilsky, I want to start with you. We are in Paris, not Riyadh, for our third year of the EWC. What's the vibe been? Athena, they're still building all around us. We just took over the expo. We are in week 0, but we're already starting with the group stages in Valorant. So for anyone who hasn't been around the Valorant scene for a minute, what are the big storylines coming into the weekend?
Oh man, there is so many. For me, I'm looking at our first matchup, 100 Thieves. It's their first time being on a global stage with this roster, but also from Americas. MIBR, first time being in a globals as well. So it's really interesting to see how they play out. And of course, all these teams that couldn't make it through and win that Masters London are back. Some of them trying to claim a championship trophy.
Yeah, we were talking to Baby Bay as he was warming up yesterday. He's like, oh yeah, G2, we bombed out of London. This is our London.
Yeah.
They are focused and they I guess, calm atmosphere in the venue tonight.
I would love to agree with you, but they were here last year at EWC in the exact same environment. Guess what? They bombed out of the groups. In saying that, though, so did 100 Thieves. Different roster this year, but some of the same players. So one of these two teams, I mean, this game will be very important for one of these organizations who also do compete in other games at EWC. RRQ's got teams in other games. They want to at least make it through the group stage here, and this first win is going to be super important, especially when you're staring down the barrel of an EDG, I believe, on the other side of things, or maybe a BBM.
Bind, he would just blow you apart. Is he still the star fragger? Is he the one to lead the team when it comes to kills?
So he's not the star fragger right now. Timotino is the duelist. That being said, Asuna has been the best flex player, I think, in all of Americas right now. He's been playing Sage, he's been playing Neon, he's been playing Phoenix. He's literally been doing almost everything.
Different play styles in that group.
Few different play styles. We've actually asked him a lot of times, like, how do you deal with so many play styles? But for him, it just comes naturally. That being said, when he is on the Neon, him and Timotino have such good synergy. They're so good with the double duelist, and he can definitely get up there with the frags. I feel like towards the end of stage 1, that's when he really started performing.
Uh-oh, I'm a little worried about some jet lag setting in. How you feeling about your Pacific crew? Okay.
Most cool, collected player. I don't think I've ever seen him raise his voice above a 5. And I think on the other side of things to Cryo, stylistically, they play very similarly. These are two players that have played the duelist, that have played Jet in the past. They flex onto Chamber and Sentinel at times. They like to play a slower play style. I described Jemkin when they won stage 1 as kind of like the Terminator. Like he's always coming for you.
He's recharging right
time, but he's not necessarily, but he's very dangerous if he catches up to you, and he's going to things at his own pace, and I think that really is very much his style. He's a very dangerous player when he's able to activate.
We've got our player. Let's talk about the distance. Will we get to a game 3? And Athena, walk me through how we're getting to game number 1. What map did they choose?
I mean, this makes sense. We have the map veto. RRQ did ban Split, which makes a lot of sense against 100 Thieves. They've had a lot of success with that Sage comp, but then 100 Thieves has followed up, banning that Lotus, leaving RRQ with that first pick. They did pick Ascent, which I want to know your thoughts on that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ, it's a map that they've dabbled in for quite some time across various different metas with mixed success. So we'll see how it's going to go for them. I think these vetoes between international teams that don't play each other from different regions are always very tricky territory. I even remember going in as a coach to an international event and thinking, I've just got my best 3 maps in the veto, got like 13-6, 2-0'd, you know? Like sometimes you have a certain read that you have a very good comfortability on a certain map. You look at how the other team plays in their region, but you lack the context for the regional strengths of some of the other teams and how they might be performing. So we'll see how the Ascent picks goes for them. We're getting into the agent select for that particular map here. Is this kind of what you were expecting on the defense here for 100 Thieves?
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Asuna has been phenomenal on this Phoenix. We actually haven't seen them play that much Ascent yet when it came to it. So kind of interesting. I could have expected a Sage. Knowing Asuna, he's had a lot of these opportunities just as insert that Sage into it, but the Phoenix makes a lot of sense. The double duelist for this team has genuinely been phenomenal, and I'm really excited to see Timotino on the Jet being able to take that space. I think this comp is pretty standard, pretty meta, so it makes a lot of sense. But on the other side, I see a Sage and a Veto.
Yeah, I mean, Q's just a comp full of a bunch of guys with guns. There's going to have to be a little bit more contacting, and they're going to have to get much more value out of something like a drone.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic that they're picking Sage against the Asuna Sage. That's been the one that's coming up with a lot of these walls. I don't know if you were
thinking about that. I don't think they care about that.
Do you not remember on Corrode when Asuna did the boost into that tiny little hole and everyone started doing it?
Yep.
I'm just saying,
started doing that.
He's the first Sage. He's got that unlocked. So it's kind of interesting to see. But again, starting on attack, it's kind of rough for that.
I mean, it's always going to be rough. That is the age-old thing with Ascent. In a lot of metas, a very defensive side of map. I think if you're playing a double duelist mirror, that's a different story. But that's not going to be the case here for RRQ. Might be a little bit harder for them to get going on the attack. Hopefully, they can try to win the pistol, try to get in with a couple of good gun rounds, and then when they flip over to the defense, maybe they'll be a little bit more comfortable. I think it's interesting that Jovi is the coach of RRQ here, though, and at least he has a little bit more insight and knowledge into how some of these American teams perform, because he's been over there in that region. He might be watching it a little bit more actively than some other people in Pacific. So I'm kind of hoping that that's going to give him a good read on what 100 Thieves likes to do.
Yeah, we didn't even get the chance to talk about Jovi earlier on, but he's been absolutely phenomenal. I've actually worked with him personally on a personal level on FlyQuest when he was in charge of that Game Changers roster, and he's so good at understanding the fundamentals of the game and making sure he's communicating that to his team. He's also really good at anti-stratting, and that's what I'm scared of, because knowing how 100 Thieves play, they are very creative, but you can anti-strat them at the end of the day. And I think too, for me, when I'm looking at the Phoenix, when I'm looking at the Jet, it is kind of scary when they do switch over and switch sides, trying to get attack anywhere on either side of the map with that Sage, with that Veto. You're gonna have to bait out so much util before you're able to actually be able to do something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it can be a little bit troublesome to be attacking into these heavy senti comps, but that's where Ascent, I mean, you're gonna have to be able to keep the defense honest. You're gonna have to be working those main controls and be able to have many threats on the map, forcing out the Sage wall, breaking that a little bit, doing the double pumps against the Veto. That's probably what RRQ has to have in mind, but that's where this man on your screen comes into the equation. Crazy guy, very much one of the best callers in Pacific. It's really just a question of whether he has the best read at the time. Can run into a bit of a brick wall at times, but very, very good mid-rounder, and especially if a team like RRQ goes down a lot of rounds, particularly starting out on this attack, I might be concerned for someone like Zan. This is a rookie player coming into an international event. He does not have a whole lot of experience. He has played at Ascension and things like that at the past within the APAC region, but at an international event, we haven't seen this player. He's going to be debuting in replacing Mon yet. But in general, RRQ, a very, very good team when they're behind. A lot of tenacity to be able to make some comebacks and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because on the other side of the roster, other side of the stage, you have Bang, who has had a good championship run, or at least has won some sort of trophy. Bang was on that roster during that iteration. And so you have this veteran of Bang who's been genuinely one of the best clutchers, and so far one of the best controller anchors I've seen in Americas too. This roster, it's so confusing to me when I'm thinking about their group stage run, when I'm thinking about how they performed in Americas, because on paper, individuals, they're so good. Everyone's so phenomenal at their role, and I just haven't seen them perform the way that I wanted to.
I think it's a similar story for both of these teams, actually. Like, both of these teams are reasonably stacked. Yeah, there's some question marks in some of the roles or in certain matchups and things like that, but you know, I'm looking at 100 Thieves placements.
I can teach you code in Python in just 30 days, even if you've never written a single line of code before. How? Simple. In my 30-day Python using AI bootcamp, you don't learn to code the hard way anymore. You learn to think like a developer and let AI do the heavy lifting.
The very best teams, or where you're running into a team that's on a really, really good run of form. I think we had that in both Pacific and Americas. You guys had Furia in kickoff go on a crazy run. We had Nongshim go on a crazy run. So sometimes you just run into a team that's really hot, and sometimes you just run into one of the old staples that always makes top threes and goes to international events.
Well, speaking of Furia, 100 Thieves actually beat Furia 2-0 and then moved on to beat Loud 3-0 in order to qualify for this event, which goes to show how crazy Americas is right now, where you never know who's going to win. That, and when I'm thinking of a team like MIBR, it's the same thing. Both these teams have so much potential, so much firepower. They've proven it time and time again, but they haven't been able to put up the results to show that. They haven't made it to an international. And I think for this team of 100 Thieves, when you're up against Leviathan, Crew, you have G2, NRG, MIBR. It's kind of really hard, but this is the time to kind of cement yourself and show yourself as a pillar of the Americas.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see RRQ take on an Americas team. I feel like at most international events, I'm used to seeing them play an EMEA. I feel like they've played Fnatic like 500 times, so I'm hoping this is going to give them a little bit of a different flavor, something a little bit different at the start of this group stage, because I think both of these teams, although there's no kind of easy team in this group, in my opinion, I think both of these teams will see this opening matchup and be happy of it, looking at the other side of the bracket and seeing EDG versus BBL. Both of those teams are going to be a nightmare to play. EDG's on a hot streak coming back off the back of London, and BBL is no pushover either. We already saw them earlier on in the opening Masters event of this year do quite well for themselves, have a nice little run over in EMEA. Unfortunately, Foot kind of eclipsed them a little bit this time around, but these Turkish rosters, you really just cannot take them for granted.
Yeah, I'm really looking at these
यार ये तो
players.
वो
I'm
था ना
obviously a
10
little bit
इसमें था ना
biased
10
here, but
positive
for me, my prediction, personally, my prediction is that 100 Thieves is going to run away with this, but they're
Sure.
not going to take it easy. I think I'm looking kind of at a 2-1 here, personally, especially looking at the maps.
Yeah, I kind of feel like 100 Thieves is probably the favorite here as well. RRQ is a hard team to root for at the best of times.
Damn, you're not even loyal
Domestically,
to your
they
teams.
are
That's
very,
crazy.
very good. Internationally, they always struggle, and I've watched all of their games internationally. It has caused me great pain.
At least they've made it to international.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we can have a conversation about maybe if 100 Thieves would have done a little bit better or not. Been a while since we saw 100 Thieves win Americas. For RRQ, at least, you could only need to go back a couple of stages, and they've also already taken a title for themselves. So, look, maybe they're not necessarily making it into the top couple. Part of that is down to, T1 super team, Nongshim going on a little bit of run. PRX is always just good. It's a hard, tussle to make it into the top couple of Pacific. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Looking at these maps, at least. So we've got Ascent first. That is RRQ's pick. Then 100 Thieves. They've gone and picked Breeze, which I'm actually surprised about. I don't know how you feel about this, but seeing that RRQ hasn't had the best of success on Breeze, and seeing that 100 Thieves has done phenomenal, essentially, every time they've played Breeze, I'm really surprised that they let that through.
I think that
भाई चाय बना
Breeze is going to be a bit of a false dichotomy for 100 Thieves, in my opinion. I think that RRQ, the whispers are that RRQ has been very good on Breeze. In some of the
Oh.
officials, maybe it hasn't gone their way. In Kickoff in particular, they were the team in the upper bracket game, and they lost 3 best-of-5s in a row to be kicked out of Kickoff and not make it to the opening Masters tournament of this year. And they lost every time on Breeze. Since then, they have kind of mixed things up. I like the fact that they're kind of playing the KO Harbor comp at the moment. I think it allows them to mid-round quite nicely. I like the way that they play the KO. So I think it is quite a good map for them. I want to see if they rejig things a little bit, though, in terms of their comp in particular when we head through onto Breeze, because previously they did have Monyet playing the Harbor. He was okay on it, a little bit up and down, but Zan mixed into this roster is definitely a Neon guy, and Jemkin is not a Neon guy. He kind of just fills Neon when they need to. So I'm wondering which one of those two things is going to take priority, or whether they'll actually just move in a completely different direction and start playing double duelist again. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Jet Neon from RRQ.
Yeah. Dude, I would love a double duelist matchup, because 100 Thieves on the other side, they've been doing that. They've been loving it too, which is kind of crazy considering as soon as KO was also really, really good in Americas, but they've switched over to that Phoenix, to that Jet. I don't know if they're going to keep that essentially today, but from what I've seen, it's where they found their success. They're so good at those aggressive plays. They're really good at setting up a lot of these little mini trap plays and denying a lot of the map control, because even on their defensive side, they've taken a lot of that map control. When I'm thinking towards that A main, they're using their resources there to be able to fight, to be able to push back the other team and not make it easy. But moving on to that third map, we have the Haven, which is the decider, which for me, you're smiling right now. Tell me what you're thinking.
I mean, it's just stock standard RRQ, really. It's just like dead in the middle of the map pool. I think this is a lot of vetoes, to be honest. I swear to God, Haven is a third map decider in like every second veto at the moment. It's because it's just been in the map pool for such a long time. So I don't think that RRQ are going to be particularly happy or sad that the third map is Haven. I think they're just totally fine with it, and it's just going to be down to the better team that wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think both teams just pretty solid for
I
that.
I think RRQ is very happy with this veto, if I was to guess. I think the Ascent is a bit of a question mark pick for me, but they're always a little bit funky with their pick. I think that the Breeze stats are a little bit misleading. I think RRQ is going to be a little bit better than you would expect to be on Breeze, but we'll see. The stats don't look great, but I'm telling you, I watched and casted most of those games recently. How much? What's the filter on that, by the way? How many months are we talking about?
This is Stage 1 and Masters.
Stage 1 and Masters.
Okay, it does not include the EWC qualifier, so there is a little bit of data missing.
The thing is, though, if you add a kickoff to that, those stats will get worse.
Kickoff doesn't count.
Those stats will get worse, though.
Wait, really?
They lost 3 in a row in kickoff. Oh, boy. So, look, Xfero, you can see he's locked in. He's ready for this game. He is very much meditating for himself and getting ready for this series, as are we. But we're going to take a little bit of a break, allow him to have a rest, and we'll be back with map 1 of 100 Thieves and RRQ right after this.
in the ₹9 workshop that you're providing, what all do you cover?
In 9 rupees, you'll learn how to automate your reports, how to automate your presentation, how you can create entire applications without having any coding knowledge. And not only that, you will be also learning how you can work with AI agents as well. And all of this in just 3 hours. Just imagine.
Wow, that is amazing. But there's so much to learn and you're charging only 9 rupees. People are going to think that's a scam. Is that true, or like how do you go about that?
So you need to understand why do we charge 9 rupees, right? So we want to make it democratized. As many people as possible should be attending it. So I don't want price to be gatekeeping for them in order to like take their first step towards GenAI. So that's why we have kept at ₹9.
Okay, that is great.
Pam 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 pam. Coffee the fungus friend in the house.
Play is in our DNA.
Bah.
Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower.
Hi chat, hello dosto.
Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
Light chali. Holy man. W Paris. Advertisement. Ow! Yeah.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day.
Gaming.
It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Lab.
I think it's crazy. Our fan base is like really huge in France. I think most of the people like already saw some events we did. So I'm pretty happy to be here. We missed out on Champs Paris last year. It's good for us to have an international event that we can play in front of our crowd, you know. I don't know if it's stress, but it's like it's a good pressure that we have. We of course want to represent the country of our org. Also, like I grew up in Paris, like it's a special city for me, so there is a lot of story about it.
We're extremely excited. We cannot wait for this opportunity. Obviously, we need to get out of groups first, but that's like even extra motivation for us to meet them all. It's our organization home country, home city, you know, so that's one of the biggest goals for us for sure.
Feels good to play here, of course, because Vitality French org and we're in France now, so it will be really fun to get into playoffs and share the stage with some of the fans too. I think that will be cool for everyone, one of us and stuff, and for me it will be especially like I am playing the French org. For me, like it's a really exciting tournament, I think.
I moved to Paris when I was 7 years old, and growing up in Paris, like I think has been a chance for me because I don't think I would be there today if I didn't, like if my mom didn't move to France. And as I said, like yeah, I'm grateful for everything, you know, like I'm trying to stay humble, like work hard, prove by what I'm doing every day.
Our group is definitely the strongest, but I don't know, I feel like it's also probably the most exciting to watch. We have a lot of fans here and stuff, so again, it will be cool to play in front of them and just feel the support in person to French fans, especially when I'm watching like different esports and stuff. The crowd is usually like really good. Game by game, we have first KC and then we'll see like who will play next. It will just be fun to see it.
I wish it would have been like with the crowds. Unfortunately, the first game there's no crowds, but I wish there was a crowd because there's gonna be Vitality fans against KC fans. It would have been so good. But it's fine, still it's gonna be an amazing match.
Meet the brand new Wondershare Uni Converter 14, the all-in-one video toolbox to convert.
In last year's finals, we were in a tough situation. I think a lot of different words were said, different tactics to wake up, maybe some harsh, maybe some inspirational.
I think all it took was winning that third map to give us that big amount of belief in ourselves that we can do it.
Even though it was so bad, we still inside believe that it's possible. Can't stop believing, because if you stop believing, then that's it.
Brienne's on 78 HP! He did the ultimate, but so is Crushies!
The trophy felt unusual. I mean, it was my first Valorant trophy. I think for all of us as well. Especially, thinking like 2 hours ago we were in the worst position possible. It felt amazing. It felt like a moment of finally.
I think I kind of knew in my head that we would win it, just because it's really hard for them to be mentally strong, being 2-0 up and then going to 2-2. Like, there was no way in my head that we were going to lose that last map, just based on knowing what mental state they're in and what mental state we're in.
Yeah, I mean,
hey guys, 3 people watching my stream. Like and subscribe and enjoy the stream. And
it's, esports is competition. Koshmaras and Winnibo are very similar in terms of playstyle. Of course, they have differences, but I think as a team we're very similar to last year.
I think there's a lot of good teams here, but we're here to defend our title. We're gonna try as hard as possible, and teams will remember the form that we were in last year, and hopefully we can replicate it this year.
We're here to defend the title, and good luck to the teams trying to take it from us.
Hey. करेगी a title.
All right, we're back from the break here at the Esports World Cup 2026, kicking off with Valorant. Just running through a couple little teething issues here on the stage before we kick off RRQ versus 100 Thieves. The start here of Group A, I believe it is on the B stream. Got a little bit of a banger game. Of course, Americas versus Pacific and Americas versus Pacific on the cast. Whichever one of us will perform better or worse will get replaced later. It's definitely not already decided.
Yeah, no, it's not decided on rotation. We actually, whoever performs, not only do
many croissants into my suitcase as I can. They're pretty light. I can get a lot in there.
True. You squish them up, make a nice little stack.
Probably ruins it. There's someone who's done that, and I'm sure a lot of French people are mad about it.
Definitely. But while we're talking about French, we're going to be talking about Paris, because this has been such a beautiful city to host this event in so far. And again, just to reiterate, the prize pool, $2 million prize pool, first place going home with a big chunk of that money. They've increased the money. They've made it BO3 matches at the beginning. And so this is a huge event that we're here for, and we're so excited for, especially with this matchup today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a bit more of a condensed format last year. This year, they definitely are starting to flesh things out a little bit more. As mentioned before, the best of threes is going to be huge for the players. I think it's going to allow them and the teams to really shine. You mentioned the vetoes and things like that, but also just getting more reps at an international event. I mean, I'm from Oceania, so I'm used to going to an international event, or at least supporting a team at an international event. Being the 16th seed, you verse the first seed, and you get banged in a best of one, and then you go home for 20, 30 hours. So sometimes that's how it be. At this event, not the case. You get to play at least one best of three, multiple best of threes. You've got the GSL format, upper lower bracket. We're not playing round robin or any of that nonsense. And we're just going to go and send the 2 teams from each groups into the playoffs.
Yep. Sounds great to me. And for those of you that are just jumping in, it is 100 Thieves versus RRQ on this stream, and we've talked a lot about both these teams, talking about how they're both powerhouses in their own way, and a little bit about the veto. And while we're just getting things started here, I wanted to talk a little bit more about 100 Thieves. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that I would have wanted to talk about 100 Thieves? But they've been so phenomenal. But I don't I don't know. That caught me off guard. I don't know how you feel about this, but for 100 Thieves, for me, they've been one of the most creative teams that we've seen in Americas. I say this even starting in kickoff when they had the Waylay. The way that Timotino was being set up to use that Waylay was really well done, and I feel like I didn't see that many teams abuse it in a way that they did. They ended up using that Waylay to get a lot of that information, but be able to refrag back and be able to go really quick into another direction, just completely catch the other team off guard. Obviously, Waylay no longer that good in this meta, but I'm excited to see what they can kind of bring to the table here, if they've made any changes to their comps.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on the side of RRQ, you know, they tend to like to keep it pretty vanilla. Of course, they have their own flavor of things that they like to do. We have already seen...
As they've just picked Sage and Vito on Ascent.
Pacific is a wild place, okay? I know
you can't say that in
America's like, oh my god, they changed one agent. Wow,
yeah,
this is really creative.
Deal.
In Pacific, we're picking 3 to 5 duelists sometimes.
We go on strat roulette and we spin a wheel for a duel.
I mean, RRQ. The thing is, RRQ stylistically would probably be considered a bit more of a vanilla team because I think a lot of people who don't watch the region might regard Pacific as like every team just runs it down. RRQ definitely plays a lot more like a European or an American team. They play a slower pace. They mid-round a lot.
Yeah.
They don't just play 30-second, site exec simulator. They definitely do kind of work the map a little bit. They try to be a bit clever with the calling. They try to have some decent amount of prep. So, yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to kind of be tackling stylistically against a team like 100 Thieves. And I think in general, that's kind of my own opinion about why sometimes RRQ might struggle at internationals because they often try to play, like they're playing a team like Fnatic and they're like playing a slower style. And it's like, we're just kind of doing what you're doing, but maybe a little worse sometimes. Although they have had some very close maps. But in Pacific, I mean, they very much are the team where they do like to slow down the mid-rounding a little bit more. They do like to mix up the pacing as opposed to some of the other teams that are a bit quicker. Your PRXs, your full sensors, things like that. They like to send it a bit more.
Yeah, I think for 100 Thieves, they've definitely done a good job at balancing both those things. Being able to play somewhat aggressive when they need to be, especially when you're looking at how they were playing versus Loud, which Loud is known to be super phenomenal with their fragging power. Players like Luke Show just going out there, trying to get as many picks as possible, but 100 Thieves were able to shut that down. They're so good at being able to play back when they need to, being able to just be aggressive, and maybe running it down is the strat to do. They've done such a good job, and a really big props to Vora because his IGLing, his mid-round has been phenomenal as well. I feel like he's really driven this team to success, and for me, when I'm looking at the coach and IGL synergy, Vora and his coach have been so good at understanding each other, building these playbooks, building these strats, having such a deep map pool, but seeing that in the server, nobody's actually lost or confused or overwhelmed with what they want to do. So I think for me, from 100 Thieves, that's why I keep talking about their creativity. It goes way beyond through and through the relationships, not just in the server, but also outside of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap, honestly. If you just discuss both of these teams and say what their strengths and weaknesses are, you talk about having a strong mid-round caller, you talk about having a bit of a slower paced, maybe baity at times star player that likes to just let the game come to them, evolving a core gradually, incrementally over time. I think that's the same thing for RRQ. They've had a certain core of players. Xferro has been around since literally the inception of Pacific franchising as the centerpiece of RRQ. Then you had Jemkin, you had Crazy Guy come in a little bit more recently than that. Similar to 100 Thieves, you've got some players that have been around since the very beginning, and they've kind of incrementally built the roster around them over time, changing in 1 or 2 players at a time over seasons until they end up with their current iteration. So I think both of these teams, as mentioned before, maybe falling a little shy of some international qualifications. This event is a good opportunity to prove themselves against the global field.
Yeah, and as much as 100 Thieves have these veterans, you've talked about the globals, you've talked about the stages. This is the first time that 100 Thieves, at least this iteration of the roster, has gone to a global, has played on a global stage. So I'm really interested to see how they face up to that. Is there going to be a shift in mentality? Is there going to be a little bit more pressure? I'm looking at a player like Timotino, who's just come up from challengers into this roster. This has been his first time in the VCT. This has been his first roster, and he's performed absolutely phenomenally. It took him a little bit of time to warm up at the beginning of kickoff, but he's done such a good job. He's blossomed into a very well-rounded duelist player, someone who does his job really well, pulling those crosshairs, not necessarily constantly fragging out, but being able to do that job, get the movement in there, open up and make the space for the rest of his team. So I'm still it's honestly still a question mark for me how they're going to perform. If I'm thinking of the VCT Americas 100 Thieves, then 100% I understand where they are. I know who they are. I've seen them play. They're so phenomenal. But when it's moving to a different style, it's kind of going to be interesting to see how they do on the global stage. But that being said, we still have a couple more things to work on. And before we jump into the game, we're going to go into a quick break.
बैक सू ब्रेक पे गए क्या कर रही है
extremely dominant.
Oh, I love this C pressure. And I like the adaptation from BBL to put LaRock there. He wants to try and fight them on it. Utility being sent out to clear him, and he's taking a lot of damage on the way back out. In fact, there's pressure in! The Stinger, enough for Kankan to find the opener. And already, Gianni has managed to add another. This C-site execute, once they've got into position, is doing so much work in terms of damage. And once again, the players on the other side of the map, I was going to say, really don't have a choice but to save. However, right now, I feel like Lovers Rock is looking for the classic. I got 1 kill, so, you know, that means I did damage. Bro, you're going up prayer, leave. You can't leave.
He doesn't have the choice.
Yeah, he could have before, but he can't now.
The good thing is they don't know he's here, and it looks like they're going to slip right past him. So for now, at least, if he continues flying under the radar, perhaps he'll get to keep it. He's not going for a ninja, surely. It won't work. Not with sign. Oh my God, he is. He's trying it. He's going to try it.
Wait, he might get it.
He could have time here. I think he's got time, and no one's close by enough. It's going to be a spam from Sign.
What the fuck?
Has he
What the
got
fuck,
it?
bro?
It's so close! No way! Lovers Rock steals the round.
Wow, bro! Wow!
I can't believe we just seen someone.
उसके पास सोच है ऑफ है और वो साला छोड़ के चले गया सब
tournament. I can't believe it.
Even as he was running towards the site, I didn't believe that's what he was doing. And they all left, Tom. Why did they all leave? The Vice Flash doesn't give you info. They just
BBL
what a disaster. Well, somehow this man's sticking around for 1 extra kill.
Correct time पे उसने वो
5-2 we go.
You can't blame me for not expecting him to do that. That's madness. And well, there's the 1 extra kill. Nice work from Gianni on the trade, but again, some weaker weaponry in play here. Obviously, it's kept through from the last round. I can't believe they didn't leave 1 Stinger player behind. It wouldn't even matter if that man went down, but...
I can't believe he won that, man. I can't believe he went for it even. Even just that was crazy, but...
ये तोड़ के जाएगा क्या?
Got to be kicking themselves. Then you come into this round, a man down already. BBL changing up their Vice setup constantly, and it causes problems here as the Thorns slowed them on the push towards the A site. Left these players isolated. And now EDG are calling the freeze. They've waited for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and finally they'll make a move. But BBL have waited as well. They are still sat in position. Of course they don't expect LaRock to be stood there. With the Vice wall covering his back, he doesn't care. They've left C completely open, but BBL are willing to take that gamble, and it's paying off for now.
Pretty hefty advantage. But the second he tries to enter this trip wall, even then it seems like there were players watching. Instead, they look to try and push behind, finding that there's nobody towards C side of the map. We'll gift them a plant. A little bit gambly, but when you're in a 2 versus 4 situation, you have to try and take that risk. However, the full force of the defenders will be there in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that door swings open and they're already on their way. Showstopper popped. LaRock searching, has found his target. It's an easy kill with the paranoia going through. Plenty of players can still see him, but Chichu tears them apart, at least for the first 2. But it's back to winning ways. Continuing on this crusade, 6-2. What should have been at least a fight back from EDG guaranteed. This game has become much more one-sided. One little mistake.
There you go. The diffuse delayed so they can get the operator. It has been having impact. Those early picks coming through from Lovers Rock have definitely been causing them issues. I do like the fact that we're seeing both Jenny and Kankan at times really look to put the pressure onto that operator. But it has been problematic to try and deal with. Either way, 6-2. The attack now have themselves to buy. Of course, they've got plenty of credits to play with. They lost a round with 5 players alive. That is a rare occurrence. It's whether or not they can start putting the rounds on the board. And again, they go towards the C side. And this time, Lovers Rock is on that side of the map.
It's the same setup we've seen. Having the C's nade, having the looking for the opening pick. EDG fell to this with ease last time. Bit more of a fight now, though. Good trade back, and they've taken Lover's Rock. The Seaside's wide open. They can run in. The smoke in their way shouldn't delay them by much.
Lover's Rock.
Still with nobody having a dog
Lover's
to
Rock.
clear that out, but they decide not to put it through. And in the time wasted, Krevins covered that gap. Look at the TP, though, by Loida. It's huge. They're clearing it. They think he's here, but dealing with him is another story. Chichu, well, he found 2 to close out the last round before he died. This time it would be enough. Take it across the line. He's going to use his ult just to be safe in grabbing that spike.
Uddar kya kar raha hai bhai?
Because you're going to almost have assumed that he had it already. It's a very, very long rotation back from Loiter. Time will be ticking. Chichu's had an opportunity to reposition. I think the only problem he might have is starting to doubt where his opponent would be coming from. You go, okay, but why is he taking so long? Has he gone all the way in towards our spawn? Has he gone all the way around the back? He sat in the corner, basically just trying to cover off as many angles as possible. Timing ticking away now for Loiter, and in the end for Chichu, it's all too easy. 3 kills for him in the round, and 3 rounds for EDG.
Yeah, a big clutch for Chichu. A much-needed round for EDG as well, as we said, after losing that 5v1 Ninja Defuse. I genuinely can't I can't remember the last time I saw a Ninja successfully found. I think in the last year we got like
1v5.
one attempt.
Not in a 1v5.
Not in a 1v5, no. Absolutely not.
Never.
And then you think about, I'm including regional games in that. Then you go to an international stage against a team like this.
Yeah.
That is not the kind of mistake that happens at this caliber.
Crazy stuff already happening. The economy a little bit rough. Well, for Gianni, the showstopper has worked out this time, and the wraparound looking to come in from behind. The ult trying to pad the gap, and well, Khan ends up with 2. Loiter ending up wallbanged. Kreven decides he doesn't want to face into the Khan operator. Honestly, that's okay. I don't think many people do.
Yeah, you start an eco or low buy round, a little bit of aggression, sure, but once you meet that operator, nice attempt by Rose to play sneaky beaky like, but he's been caught, and now all onto Kreven. Guardian got the weapon for the job, at least. Already the first 1 tap under his belt, but Signed puts an end to that. 6-4 now. EDG with a chance to equalize still at the halftime.
Yeah, it was looking like a potential for BBL to run away with this half, but that potential is slowly slipping away from them. Of course, on a regional standpoint, EDG are normally incredible on that attack side, so I'm interested to see if they're going to have that same sort of caliber on the defense. We've only seen them play the defense, really, versus DRG, who they lost to both times. But of course, it's hard to doubt. These players, even without. Nonetheless, then we're going to see this early aggressive start from Larocque. And actually, he's going to continue his pushing, but it's almost worked out as bait for Loiter.
Oh, it's a great paranoia. Chichu on a tear these last few rounds. He's found Larocque. But EDG back into a workable position. Rose is going to cover in the corner. And some thorns to his left. It might draw the eye of the rest of the squad, but they won't see anyone fighting them as they go through. They're suspicious! But Rose lands 2 in a row. A quick double to spike. To wait till that wall comes down.
Hello.
They can retrieve it, but not without a fight. Rose is still guarding it in that corner, and he'll catch Con for 7. The lead locked in for halftime.
I'm very surprised that Rose got as much done from that corner. Normally I expect that to be a one and done. Of course, EDG were focusing more on the timing of getting over the wall. And because of that, they walk through. One's looking his way, the other's obviously clearing the other angle. That player doesn't hit, he gets 2 for 1. It worked out wonderfully for the IGL of BBL. They now look to come out with an 8-4 half. Of course, 7-5 with a pistol and second round under their belt. It's kind of what's expected. But either way, Operator waiting for Kankan.
Yeah.
He knows that a player is likely already crossed. It's Rose currently holding the operator, allowing Lovers Rock to get aggressive and now peeking into a double of players.
All up करके रेस को फंसा दिया क्या? नहीं.
But instead they go back towards the C site, which as of right now is completely open. It does look like BBL are setting up for the retake though.
Yeah, that it does. I mean, they've got 4 players having pushed up on A. A lot of space taken there. The whole idea is to just fight this outside, this attacker side of the map. And the idea from EDG is to do the exact opposite. They go to the top. They go to the defender spawn, taking that as a nice foothold. Seekers go out and tell them where to look. One player towards water. That's going to be nobody searching for the kill. Trying to make this uncomfortable for that player.
Oh.
And now
लग गए right में देख अच्छा shot ही लेके बैठा है लोगों ने
slow down this. So BBL going to run straight through, already having dodged the ultimate. They've got their weapons in hand.
Omen कैसे dodge कर दिया था भाई वो
have numbers against them. A smoke
that's going to block them off.
The defuse can now be tapped. A spam through the smoke, the best that it gets, but they found him. Rose is down. 4 for Chichu. And Sign is there to close it out. It will be 7-5 at the half. The lead for BBL, but ENEG not that far behind.
No, another great round coming out from Chichu. I think you can put at least 2 or 3.
The last 5 rounds, he's on fire.
Yeah. You could put at least a few down to him individually. Or just even the spam through the smoke, making sure they couldn't even get it to half. I think at that point, Loiter already knew that round was over. 7-5, a decent recovery, especially when you consider there was a 1v5 Ninja Defuse in the mix and you didn't win the pistol. I think that's not too bad for EDG.
Yeah, you know, often we talk about the pistol rounds in a situation like this, 7-5. You're like, oh, the pistol made the difference here. That's what gave you the leg up. No, the 1v5. The 1v5 Ninja Defuse is what gave you the leg up there. That's tough. But for BBL, the lead by 2, indeed. It's something to work with, but I don't think they're out of the woods just yet. Mistakes from ENEG allowing that Ninja Defuse through, that's a flash in the pan.
Ninja Defuse
I think this team is only going to get better and better as the tournament goes on as well. And that's always the effect that we see when you have a coach coming in to stand in. You think about Zeiss. Yes, he was great when he stood in for KC the first time around, but as the days went on, as the weeks went on, he started to grow more and more into that position. The team identity looked better, started to feel how to call in the game, and the team knew how to play around him as well. And that's exactly what I expect to see here for EDG, that Sign will become more and more integrated into this roster over games. That on-stage experience is vital for any top-tier player. And so, he's coming in here with these guys. I don't just mean on-stage experience as a player. I mean with your team, right?
Yeah, of course.
And he's coming in here with a chance to build that day by day, already looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's also fun as well when you do have like a coach in the mix, because you can have those additional inputs that you might normally have to call a tactical pause for. So it can give you additional value. Of course, what you lose is Smoggy, who's an insane player. So it definitely, I'm not going to say it's a full positive. I think there's some pretty hefty negatives in there, but he's held his own so far in the game. And of course, you still have crazy caliber players like Chichu, who's just popping off at the moment and going into the defensive side. We'll have to wait and see what they have on offer. As said, when it comes to their regional victories, it's normally the attack side where they shine. But a lot of the time, they
dominate that first round. एक match ये होगा, एक match वो होगा. तभी शायद ऐसा लोग कर रहे हैं.
I'm excited to see what we're going to get.
चलो अभी EDG का defending है.
Genuinely, it's the last 5 rounds.
अभी BBL का
attacking. We got
attacking.
like a 2K out of 4, then a 2K clutch, and a 4K to close it out as well. Chichu's having a game, man.
What the fuck?
7-5. Pistol round underway, and it's BBL on the attack. Lee said we're going to get a glimpse here at EDG on the defense, and it is 4 players towards C, 2 baiting that initial fight. In fact, Jet's the only one baiting
but
it.
ये देखे ना यार, इस बार इसमें इतना वो नहीं देखे. मतलब ये नई वाली Vandal उतना ज़्यादा नहीं चली.
But they're going to open the door, and that's where a problem forms for nobody.
Loita और ये Laro.
And that has caused a problem for nobody. They're all around him. He's going to be taken down, but the trade's at least favorable for EDG.
Yeah.
Great paranoia.
It did pretty well there, getting out of that with a kill and then setting up.
Great.
Chichu, I'll be honest, he doesn't need much setting up. He's just managed to right-click a guy down to 8 HP. Half of the bullets hitting the wall.
Yeah.
That's how the classic works. There you go. So you need.
It's like I'm pretty sure the wall ate most of those shots. I just saw his health bar disappear. Like, oh.
Well, look at the control though. Kraven's managed to get them into the A. So the thing I like from EDG. They've grouped up bar one player. That one player's Kankan. I'll allow it.
Safe enough pair of hands if he's on his own. Yeah, I'll certainly be believing in him. Plant coming through.
अकेला एक वहाँ से है, बाकी सब backstab.
A lot of HP missing.
पीछे मत देखना,
He's going to try to be the snake in the grass. And I don't think they saw his pistol. There's a jump scare for Signed. But they're still hunting him down. Jenny, as reliable as he's been, it seems like Lloyd has hit another level in this pistol round. Already 3 kills under his belt, but he might need to do more. Kraven's the only one left on his team alongside him, but never mind, holding the site proves easy. For the
क्या होल्ड किए भाई साइट ये लोग BBL ने
and an injection of rounds in this early half could make
लोग
this
कौन-कौन सा मैप है
dangerous series
BBL ने
for
कौन सा
EDG.
Yeah, that's both pistols under their belts as well, and I agree with you. I thought that Loiter would be dead to rights. The fact he gets 2 while on 8 HP, that's the defining part of the round.
But BBL ने अच्छा निकाला यार.
There's still going to be that pincer in onto the remaining players of BBL. Instead, it gives Kraven a lot more of an opportunity to isolate.
भाई जो न्यू आ रहे हो प्लीज लाइक कर देना स्ट्रीम को.
8-5. Lead extended.
Holy shit.
Lovers Rock with a sniper.
अच्छा शॉट मारा उसने. रॉक ने अच्छा शॉट मारा उधर.
Lovers Rock with a sniper.
बी पे 3 लोग हैं भाई.
The sniper being the outlaw, but nobody even having shields. Should be an easy cleanup for any fights.
You're correct. Nobody doesn't have shields.
इधर.
Well, technically, I said nobody has shields, so
exactly.
I'm incorrect because I said.
अबे जेट अकेला है पे जेट तुझ पे पुश कर सकते हैं. भाई मेरा वॉइस तो सब सही है ना? मेरे को बता देना पहली बार मैं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ वॉच पार्टी का एक्सेस मिला है मैंने लिया. गेम का वॉइस और मेरा वॉइस बरोबर आ रहा है ना? उफ. अच्छा ये कैमरा मेरे को लगा भाई ड्रोन कर रहे.
The weapon he comes up against is a sniper on the other side, and in the hands of Kankan, it's good enough for the kill. Problem is, everyone else has crosses.
ओ मैंने इसका यार आ रहा है. पीछे देख लाडले पीछे देख म्याऊ म्याऊ म्याऊ.
Realize that flash has left Rose so blind, but again a corner unchecked. I think he's got almost all of his kills from corners unchecked. He got 3 from one corner.
मार देता उसको यार.
I think he may only have 5.
अब यही 7 8 8:30 बजे हमारा ये प्रीमियर है.
So he actually did get all of his kills from corners.
There you go.
Incredible.
He's just hiding in corners the entire time. An easy cleanup for BBL though, and now is where we basically need to see the breakback from the side of EDG. Of course, this is their opponent's map choice, but we don't really know what to expect from this game going in. It's not a map that we've seen them play too much recently.
Maybe उस पे भी क्या भाई.
Too much might be an understatement. We haven't seen them play at all.
Yeah, there is something poetic about seeing the IGL only getting kills from positions of.
है ना chat. उसने भी उस पे whip कर दिया.
I do like that. It's kind of how he should be playing. Well, for BBL. Double digits if they can take this round. They've invested decently. 3 rifles, a Guardian, which is another rifle. I say rifles, I mean
अभी भी stop पे है तो वो अपन बाद में दे.
Vandal up close, not good for nobody. Caught pulling it out, and Loida gets an easy opener. The plant now on the B side as a result, but of course, Chichu not going quiet.
अरे मार गया उधर TP करके मारा हूँ मैं.
Equally as good.
लोइटा बस भाई 4 HP बचा है साला.
Thieves just 2 standing.
रुया ब्लाइंड है बी पे कर दिए हैं भाई.
Yeah, there's not really much of a choice now. It's interesting the position of that Vice Wolf.
अच्छा BBL hold कर रही है.
Leaving him boxed in on his own setup again. That's quite a common thing to do with a stand-in. The problem is one of the normal positions for that wall is on B. So that you know that somebody's
EDG के पास sign और चीज बचे.
If you're very aware of the gap, I think you can tell from the way that nobody died. He's completely unaware
मत
from the gap.
मत करो भाई मत करो.
Can't happen again.
मत जाओ बाल चला जाएगा.
Yeah, it's not been the prettiest. Rose has gone down to the spike. Well, he was making sure they're not getting ninja diffused, and I can certainly appreciate that. Well played, Rose. But for EDG, uncharacteristic mistakes. That's the thing that's surprising. You had the 1v5 ninja diffuse earlier. You have this round as well where BBL are allowed to simply walk up.
And Lorok's giving them a round of applause.
Of course he is. Of course he is. I haven't seen them stand up all too much so far, but hey, there's plenty more room to the series.
Because the seats are so comfy.
Exactly. There you go. Sponsors gonna love that one. That was a great hit.
Oh yeah, अच्छा
We
tips
planned out a few
मिलेगा
of these
इससे.
for the day. So
Oh
don't
yeah,
you worry.
definitely.
Good. What's next on the script? Well, 10-5 BBL.
One way दे
Very
दिया
good
उसने उधर
position
से.
right now. They come into
चार
this. We
जन
spoke about it. EDG
फिर
favorite,
पुश
but we
कर
don't know how
रहे.
to play with the
रेज
standard.
डोर
To be
ओपन कर
honest,
सकता है.
I'm not
रेज
gonna play
डोर
with
ओपन
standard.
करके मार
Top
सकता
down.
है.
It's looked a little bit messy in some of the rounds.
या तो अब भी करेगा या ओमन और ये साथ में पिक कर दिया. मत पिक करना.
Very low
मत
buy
पिक
as
करना.
well in this one. Chichu, understandably, is the man with the rifle. That's it. That's the other problem. That wall's getting tripped for free. Once that door goes
अरे
up,
पे
and it
तीन
looks
आ
like
गए
EDL
लोग. ये पे
definitely
पुश कर
posturing for this
सकते
A
थे
hit.
ना.
They've allowed EDG to know it. All the info there for the defensive
But ये
side.
लोग.
Yeah, and I think that's the Bay. They're ready for Kankan's push.
ये लग रहा है next
Yeah, might be a
ascent
bit
पे
more of a
संस्कृत
surprise. The flash. Oh, hello!
टाइमिंग टाइमिंग
Gets the
हो गई
timing.
भाई के
They found the rat
साथ.
this
लाडले
time.
के साथ टाइमिंग हो गई
Now split back
यार.
to B, but there's a player ready and waiting. Again, he has his nade primed. Again, can just look to slow them down. Paranoia in, and there's the man of the moment.
ओवन भी है
Chichu with
लेफ्ट
that
में.
rifle.
लेफ्ट में ओवन
Even
भी है.
escaping from
लोइटा.
this, they're still walking back into another player in the form of Signed. He's got himself an additional weapon, but there's Lover's Rock.
Oh.
2 quick shots. But they still have to answer the question of
2v2
where
है.
do we go from
2v2
here.
है.
The C site
2v2
seems the
है.
safest, and that allows for that rotation all the way back to the other side of the map and a post plant.
Oh, Lover's Rock almost getting
बच
caught.
गया.
But he's on
बच
the right
गया.
agent for it.
Almost
Quickly
बचा
able to
भाई
slip
वो.
away. Back to the
लाडला
seaside.
म्याऊ म्याऊ होने से बच
They know the
गया.
outlaws lurking around, and for Signed, that's a big problem. For
दे
Chichu,
अच्छा इधर से
so
लिंक
much,
जा
at
रहे
least
ना.
for now. Ult's going to be put into play from the shadows. He sat in the backside, spots one, maybe even two. They definitely have the info to work with. Loida as the same himself. Lover's Rock wraps around. They double swing,
Kabaay
take
tod
Sign
rahi hai.
down, and leave Chichu in an unwinnable spot.
Oh.
Time against him. And a shot landed by Loida confirms it. A big lead
भाई
for
BBL
BBL.
अच्छा निकाल रही है.
And honestly, I'm surprised to not see like a pause coming through from
I know.
EDG, even just to settle the nerves.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those games where you're just kind of going like, okay, let's go with the flow. Let's learn a little bit of our own weaknesses, but also, yeah, as you sort of said, I think a lot of the mistakes have been a little bit more blatant, like gaps being left and things that I don't think you necessarily need to be told that need to be fixed. Chichu, though, still having an insane game. He's being matched, at least by 1 or 2. Gianni tries to get aggressive, but they are just waiting on the other side to try and catch them out. Lover's Rock, he's already taken quite a bit of damage. A push in towards Chichu might not be advised. Ooh, maybe now it will be. He tries to TP away. And again, look at the space that's already been claimed.
Nice shot by Kankan. But we need another to pull them back into this round. The other problem being with plenty of members to this attacking side, they don't need to worry all too much about rotating that player through without moving Loida, but the flank coming through is a big problem. Signed has not been spotted. They seem to have no idea that he even can be here. There's a freebie on offer, and he will claim it, leaving Rose to try to fight back. And now finally, Loida does need to rotate through. But when he does, it's too little too late. Big round for EDG.
Yeah.
Right in the nick of time as well.
I think that obviously Signed great work on the timing on the flank, but the big player in this round is Kankan. Because not only does he get these 2 kills, I do think this is audacious from Lover's Rock to even look in that direction, but then he starts baiting for his teammate. Because eventually someone's going to look behind. But if you have a guy on Jet jumping around with his knives out, you're looking at that guy. You're looking at the guy who's the biggest threat in the server most of the time. And that's the moment that gives the Signed the opportunity to strike. 11-6. A break back after 4 in a row.
Okay. वो पूरा 5 A पे push कर रहे. Oh the fuck, bro! What a shot!
These showstoppers, he's picked out of the air again. 3 versus 4, damage done to Rose. He'll be taken down with ease, miles away, and the showstopper
बच गया?
for damage. Not for the kill, but it feels like enough has already been done. They are throwing everything at this one. Even in the 4v2, no room for error.
Fuck.
And EDG, well,
लोइटा भाई.
Signed and Chichu.
हमारी आंखों में अंगारे, बाकी सब अंगारे. Let's go.
Take the orb outside C and then plant with ease. This has turned into a much more dangerous round.
There's the AWP. It does seem like this has been thought of, though. Look at Chichu. Chichu is so ahead of the game. He's so ahead of it. He's so ahead of it. He knows exactly what's coming. He's going to be waiting for his opponent. The second he goes with a bomb, you thought he had a big brain.
लोइटा भाई भी चले गए कर दिया.
Way before anyone would have expected it.
I almost don't care who wins this. I feel like Chichu's MVP. The guy's just been putting in a shift, man. So many impressive rounds across this map. He's kept them in it. And this would have been a very flat first half, if not for him, and it would have been a game over. Although absolutely anyone watching the 1v5 defuse would have cancelled that. But 4 rounds left to go. The gap's starting to narrow a little bit again.
अच्छा defend KD.
It is any moment that BBL can answer up. It's not even waiting for the next round when the full buy comes through. They're just as dangerous here with pistols.
Holy shit. 5 लोग इधर push कर दिए. लोइटा भाई है the tension.
Couple of ults here and there to play with as well, but very situational ones. And the ult for the defenders is pretty much useless. You know, get rid of one of Laroc's weapons.
एक निकला.
Push already gets an open. Chichu, very open ground. Had a high low, but
nice.
It ended up a bit low in the round. Gianni at least keeps them the advantage. The Nightfall has been sent through, and in quick succession, both players pick up a kill. Nobody's been bottom of the team so far, but they need him to win this one.
Crept up, got Rose. But the first kill might not be the easiest. Good flash, LaRock caught in the corner and caught by nobody. It's been a rough map for this guy so far. But the win now fills his sails. Again, a necessary clutch. BBL constantly on the edge of running away with this. And yes, it should have been an easy round. They had pistols, yada yada. I don't care. For nobody, that's the round he needs. A clutch to get him back in the game.
Nice. They're all laughing after that one because it was definitely a little bit more shaky after you're full blinded with the flash, but very well played in the end. And well, you mentioned timeouts earlier. It's going to be BBL taking one. 3 rounds in the lead, but feeling the pressure. And I think they know, as we talked about in this group in general, they're playing up against EWC with the stand-in. Still a tough opponent, but I don't think any of the opponents look any easier on paper. Like a full force RRQ, 100 Thieves. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not they can get this one over the line. Because if it slips and then you go into an ascent where, hey, your opponents have picked it after not playing it. You can't have prepped anything going into that map. You start to feel pressure.
And for BBL, we already mentioned it, winning this map, having Ascent up next, it could set them up to knock this out of the park 2-0 to avoid that sunset in the end. Never know what EDG are going to be pulling out there, or how high up the power creep can go as we get later into this series. But I see the fist bumps from BBL, their timeout coming to a close, and it's time to get right back into the game. We said lights out for Chichu. Looks like Lloyd is matching his performance as well. Certainly had his fair share of rounds, but for Chichu, it's that underdog story. It's because they're behind and he's been the one fighting back in for them. And on this team, that's bloody impressive.
Well, even after 3 rounds in a row, it's going to be an operator with no shields coming into this round for Kankan. So definitely a little bit more vulnerable. Okay. See you later, LaRock.
All because of that clutch, you know? Wouldn't have had the confidence to spray otherwise.
Okay, bye.
People would have thought that nobody was there. But not
nobody. Oh bye, प्यारे off में पकड़ाएंगे.
Waiting, had a teammate to support, but in this case, with an advantage already, he's going to fall back.
Another pick for Kankan. This time the trade is there. It's Rose quick on the trigger, but Jenny, a snake in the grass, striking when they least expect it. Leaves it all onto Krevin. 4 to find. The first doesn't come too easy. He's left on 5 HP, and that nade is hunting him down. He stands reasonably close to it, and okay. He's alive. The smoke fades. A player up top. Good flash! And now a 1v1. Surely not for Krevin. But the spike is down. And Jenny is protecting it. 1 away from a showstopper, but that's not going to come online here. That's for a future round instead. Krevin playing it slow. The problem is, without opening that door, Jenny's going to know you're coming from this direction. And Krevin, it's been so long, he doesn't know where his opponent's gone.
Flash,
Single bullet needs to be a headshot. Gianni will be there to close the round. It is well, close to an all-time clutch for Kreven with 5 HP. But it is still
the
streak of rounds going. Now again, it's incredibly costly for EDG. They were already on the back burner just getting an operator into the round. You see why they got the operator, because how fast Kankan is. The snake in the grass this time flips to the other side with Gianni. Having another big round on the Raze. Of course, as I said, we've seen him on Duelist in the past, but it's him swapping back to it for this. He's looking fairly comfortable.
Yeah, good work by Jenny. Just sat in the corner. Shame that there was no utility for Kreven to make that an uncomfortable fight on the other side. But for LaRock, that's a very big scalp to take early on. Jenny, not liking the odds of taking this round. Showstopper goes through, and he finds LaRock. How? I don't know how he survived. Got his weapon out, landed the shot, and now BBL, okay. They'll recover the rifle. They'll deal damage to Jenny. But the advantage sat firmly with the defense for now.
Weaponry dissipating. A heal onto Gianni as well, so although he took damage early, that's now dissipated, and the other side can't have that same sort of luck. Kreven is down to just 45 HP. It would need to be a couple of instant shots once again. I don't know what you're going to do with that information. Yeah, there's a player there. Now for Kreven, he's gone back, but he's walked straight back into the hands of Kankan. That operator still in hand. And for Rose, well, he's not been having the best of games individually. Might get one for free. The second player could be a little bit harder to land, but he knows exactly where Kankan is. Knowing and doing anything about it is a very different story.
Yeah, well, this is a team in the form of VDG that looked completely deactivated. They were making so many basic mistakes going through that first half, even a little bit here. But we always knew it's a matter of time before they wake up. I was starting to think maybe it would be a map, maybe it would be a series. But it looks like they found their form right in time. BBL slowing down, and another timeout, the second for BBL being called, and quite quick succession as well, as they're finding no answers to what EDG are putting out.
I feel like we're getting early spoilers of sort of what I was talking about in the next map, where it's like, oh, why would they go towards Ascent? It's like, well, if you can have Kankan with an operator on the defensive side, he might just kill everyone. And that's kind of what he started to do, like lightning fast reactions on the operator. And then you still have the likes of Chichu up the top of the board. Gianni started to wake up. We know that they have so much individual talent that even if a piece of their puzzle has been removed, the stand-in at times might not even have to do too much. And right now, well, what's that? 2 pauses in 3 rounds? 2 rounds? Like, you could see that BBL are really feeling that pressure. And you have to start to fear that if you let this map slip away from such a massive advantage, I don't know if the next one's even going to be remotely close. I think it is. It's within 2, right? Because they lost 3 in a row. They took a pause, lost 2 more, and took another pause. 2, so I think it is literally 2 pauses right. in 3 rounds.
Round 22. A 1-round gap now. A team that was trailing and deactivated has found their way back into the game. Second wind, but it's Kankan to fall right away. LaRock's had no look on the showstoppers this time. He's finding his mark. Pushing up to 12. This could be the round for BBL. Good damage, though. Jenny hunting down his prey. Blood in the water. And he's hot on his tail. The classic, trying desperately to find him, and it will be nobody to do it. At least dealing with 1, but still a man advantage for BBL. And now the time is ticking in their favor.
Oh, they're using everything. This is literally just blitz all your ultimates at once to try and scrape your way through a round. This is a must-win now for BBL. They'll have nothing into the next, but they are taking this one home. Signed, the stand-in, the coach in a 1v4, and with the credits desperately low. Not today.
Now listen, maybe he'll be a replacement on the main roster if he wins this one. You can see him already leaving to the other side of the map.
Sorry, मेरा mic ही बनता यार.
12 for BBL. At long last, it felt like an inevitability 6 rounds ago, and yet it has been a good streak from EDG.
That's not recreatable at all. Like, you can't use
was a big ult on
3 high-impact ults in 1 round. And okay, sure, LaRock got the opening anyway, but the showstopper definitely helped get rid of Chichu. And okay, I'll say that the Steel Garden didn't really do anything other than slow 1 player down at least a little bit. But it has also put the economy on the back burner a little bit for EDG. No operator on their side. In fact, it's Lovers Rock. Now, they do have a Blade Storm. That's going to help, but there are definitely pieces missing here and there. And immediate 4-player aggression. Can't 1 for 1. The nade won't quite kill off Loiter. And after seeing that many players, surely that's an immediate response from the attack to go back the other way.
Concon's dealt with, Chi-Chi's still alive, and with the TP as well. He can move to this A site if noise is heard, but Sign not yet getting the read, and the push coming his way. Now a lot of utilities making its way in. And in a moment's time, you're going to see Lovers Rock looking for that opening on the up for Sign. Oh, yeah, I think he's going to walk into it. Oh, no! Lovers Rock walks into him. Great shot from everybody on EDG. They have shut down that push. Wow. The danger averted. 12-11. We're going the distance no matter what.
Yeah, so I mentioned it. You get rid of the ultimates, and that round, even the last one might have not gone their way. And that is not how they would have hoped for that one to go. The individual stepping up. That's it. Signed 12-14 right now. He's holding his own within the server. A man that was playing in the Ascension system last year. So as I said, it's not like he is way out there of a player who's not ready to jump into the server, but it's still a lot of pressure going up against BBL, some of the best aimers you'll ever see, and while they're going to try and play off that now, Lovers Rock immediately with an opener. The trades were going their way, but they're signed. He's now leveled up, 14-14. At OT, well, it almost feels inevitable at this stage.
Loida might be able to get some work done, but nobody is sneaking up on his left, and he has no idea. Great shot from nobody, and with Signed on a 3K overtime, locked in EDG. I can't stress enough how out of this game they looked at a certain point. The mistakes they were making were unforgivable. Like for BBL, I could see a world where they win this, where they even look dominant on any map because they have the individuals coming out the gate, shredding. That wasn't the case. It was mistakes on the other side, and now that EDG have tightened up the game, it's looking a whole lot better.
I want to go the other way with it. BBL win both pistols. They win, I think, 2 rounds off of straight BS. And now they're going to OT. This is a choke and a half. Like, they were handed the map. And now they are in overtime. Like, the pressure is severely on them. I don't think EDG could have given them anything more to take this game over the line. If they lose from here, I'm not going to lie, it's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, you come into a set then with a different mind frame than the quasi advantage you might have thought of for BBL earlier, that hometown hero when it comes to the 82nd province of Turkey. But you come in after a loss like this, I'm not sure that matters at all. Confidence will take a knock for EDG. A slow start to this attack side. They've seen so many aggressive rounds out of BBL. Think about that C push especially that had a lot of success for the defense. So they wait. And now, push comes to shove. And that was very dangerous. The spike was involved in that fight, but it does make it out. Man advantage. They know he's tucked in the corner, and they want to deal with him. That's a bold play.
Can't go with an attack side operator. He really has not been missing. He's got one every single time. It's only if there's someone ready and raring to trade him.
3-4, chat.
Walk back. Not going to be caught. EG have just completely paused. They have left their opponents with little to no information. The corner being flashed, by the way, just to make sure there's nobody there. Rhodes is already dead. They were still wary that there could be a second. But now with a plant and an advantage extending even further, the lead looking like it's going to be taken. And the Huber Kankan, you know he's not going to miss that shot. Lovers Rock needs to try and recreate it, and it is all but over. 13-12 now. EDG, after being an insane deficit, now on that point.
And even this defensive round, it doesn't have that same flair as what we saw in the first half. The pressure they were putting on in the extremities, the early fights that were going their way every time. And now, the shoe's on the other foot. It seems like EDG have the plot armor. They have managed to bounce back from a huge deficit and delete all of those silly little mistakes that were there. That quick of a turnaround is impressive, but it's also what you expect from a squad like this. As said, with this stand-in, I expect them to get better and better with every map under their belt. I didn't think it would be every half under their belt. A chance for 14 to close the map here and go on to a set. EDG's map pick, and often a hometown map for any Turkish team. Go in there after dealing a blow like this. That'll be a huge advantage.
The knives a dog ko
I think they just noticed he knifed the Prowler, Yes. It might be Con with the op. Why wouldn't he shoot it? Okay, let's go the other way.
नाइफ से उसको प्रॉब्लर को मारा भाई फेड़ के। ये नहीं खड़ा है इधर, ये नहीं तो निकाल रहा है भाई ये बस।
The attack side going to try and take back that space towards C. Khan in position once again, and of course he doesn't miss the shot.
ये एक्शन स्पीड क्या है भाई?
A man down, and the C site executes failing, but with the opener onto nobody, that definitely makes things a lot more interesting. The A site is completely under their control.
Guys, कौन जीतेगा? बताओ चैट में टाइप करो EDG या BBL.
On that side of the map,
को लग रहा है कि
this gives BBL a pretty good opportunity.
Plant coming through. Gonna be onto Larocque, still 2 away from that showstopper after the plant. And look who's sneaking his way in. Chichu's gone for the spam. It looked like it was on for the start. Immediate swap from Con. He shoots, drops his weapon, and goes in for the fight, but that's not gonna work. And with him taking out the rest of the squad a little bit further behind, and the showstopper now online, the round is tied up in a neat bow. BBL
25-26
not
round
gonna
ये भी
let
चला
this one
गया.
slip just yet, and they'll get another chance at that defense.
The back and forth continues. A much needed one as well. I feel like that resets this into an even playing field once again. I was just worried they were going to completely fall out of the map after it coming all the way back to overtime. But it seems like BBL still have some fight within them. No surprise that Khan's invested back into that operator once again. The defenders looking to reaggress towards that seaside, but Khan is waiting. This time not missing the shot, but he has missed 2 players already on the walk-up.
Same space take from BBL, this time without the C's in play. A little bit of a different layer to hopefully allow them to push through, to give Lovers Rock the chance to clean house. On the other side of the map is where EDG are focused. Spike outside A jump spot that they're hearing every couple of seconds, but they don't know about Rose. BBL are setting traps on each extremity. Finally, Lovers Rock has walked up. He's hearing the steps into B now. He knows the play, and they are none the wiser.
Hug दिया लाडला म्याऊ म्याऊ. Yo bhai bro, night market कब आ रहा है? Night market bro, आज ये कौन सा month है?
They can't keep up that
fight. August, September में आ जाएगा.
The paranoia is perfect though. That's the advantage.
September
Nobody waiting in position. Kraven, however, catching. This is looking like a round set up for victory, but still, Khan and Chichu wait, but it's a missed shot, an uncharacteristic one at that, and a flawless defensive side round coming out of the side for BBL. They need one more attack side round, and they'll finally close out the map that they started.
Like कर देना भाई, जो नहीं मारे please like कर देना.
It looked like a complete mismatch in that first half. But the same can be said when you look at EDG's play in the second. For BBL, this is the chance to take it home. The attack side's being kind to them in that last overtime.
Not late. क्यों भाई अभी तो आया था, अब मई में तो आया था night market.
Finding that showstopper
June, July, August, September, 3 months या 4 months में आता है.
Looks like they will put a lot of focus towards this left
May
side of the
ending
map.
तक आया था,
2
25
players
में को
outside
आया था
B,
night
maybe 3.
market.
We could see that door
June
swing
तक
open
था,
and an immediate challenge to the C side.
अभी लाई चल ही रहा है अगस्त सितंबर.
Where we've seen Sim playing a nice shot from nobody off rip. They're still continuing the walk up, and Jenny's just waiting on the cross. All too easy for those initial openers, and losing 2 personnel off rip. You almost feel like it needs to be a mistake for somebody over on the EDG side if they're going to turn this round back.
Oh yeah, they'd have to trade out the mistakes made by BBL. Yeah, you're just about going to survive that on 1 HP,
okay,
but
yeah, never mind.
Khan goes
I was about to
back.
say, Khan doesn't miss.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He hit both shots.
Now
signed, waiting on the side. Flash for him to swing as well. He doesn't swing. He plays it patient, plays it slow. Maybe that's a mistake. Nobody now dropped and signed. Under pressure from that right side. Now all eggs in that basket. Good damage done, but whoa, it's a bit shaky. 14 to 14.
14 कर दिए.
Yeah, just bear in mind, guys, this is map 1 of the entire tournament. It feels like we could be in for the long
14 कर दिए भाई आज हमारा ही प्रीमियर है.
How the hell did nobody get a kill and get out when 3 players were looking at him? What the hell were they thinking? Then shift walking through. That was like 2 seconds later. Where do you think nobody's gone?
Bro,
and it wasn't even him.
Yeah,
They've got
that was
another
what it is. They
teammate.
looked and they were like, oh, nobody's there.
Nobody's there.
Chat 3 लोग देख रहे हो फटाफट लाइक कर दो स्ट्रीम को. यार प्लीज लाइक
14
कर
to
दो.
14. Kankanop survives, but not been purchased up on the other side. Seeming like
भाई
both
इसके
teams have
प्रॉलर
now
को
found
नाइफ
their
से
rhythm,
मारा
but
था जेट ने भाई मजा आ
only
गया.
one can take this map over the line. The map choice of BBL. Definitely feeling a
Hello
little bit more
Sanseed भाई.
tentative than what we'd seen so far in this map. Less fast-paced rounds, patient stuff, and this has been a big point of contact. Kreven just spams into the smoke again. There seems to be a regular occurrence of just players picking a timing, spamming, and almost getting a kill.
A minute on the clock. And EDG still spread thin. The spike was alone outside B, but now it's regrouped. Okay, danger's averted, but the problem is this bait setup. We saw it before from BBL. The jump spot's there from Loida. He sees them and hits the paranoia, but instead he swings out wide. Now goes down. Rose has to have a sensational performance. It's shaky, could have been 2. But 1 found. At least for BBL, it's just a 1-man disadvantage, and they've got the rotator in just in time. Lovers Rock and Kreven are here to hold the line. Early fight from Larok, but Concon just keeps ripping them to shreds. It's EDG with the lead again.
अरे भाई बताओ क्या हाल है आपका? मेरा हाल ठीक है bro. आप लोग बताओ कैसे हो?
I've been saying it's a lot of the time it's been one and dones. This is him finding a player with a classic, walking into the site with
मेरा
an
आवाज प्रॉपर आ रहा है ना?
another couple and then closing
गेम
it
का
with
आवाज जो मेरा आवाज बरोबर है ना? गेम मेरा आवाज थोड़ा हाई किया हो क्योंकि बात कर रहा हूँ सुनना चाहिए ना. 4 लोग देख रहे हो भाई लाइक कर देना स्ट्रीम को.
Concon was 15 and 15. So he's had a little bit of an awakening.
Yeah.
A small amount. And it is scary to be in BBL's camp right now. The attack side having to be mounted again. That spam was decent. The Rock tagged up. No more bullets fired. He'll survive that engagement. Oh my god.
15 तो नहीं होगा ना?
And he's got Chichu completely off guard. And another.
Holy shit bro. BBL लग रहा है 15 करके मारेगी. 15 करके मारेगी.
This one not quite caught off guard. And that makes it even more impressive.
15 हो गया.
Yeah, he has had an awakening.
Bro, IT partner program में क्या होता है? कुछ नहीं, ऐसे ही बस तुम हो जाओगे join तो उसमें आपका income चालू हो जाएगा. ना मतलब मैं अगर बोला अगर तुम स्टार्ट अभी स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करोगे तो यूट्यूब से अच्छा तुम किक पे स्टार्ट कर दो. किक ज़्यादा भी अच्छा इनकम दे रहा है.
Someone gets greedy. Someone starts looking and hunting for an additional kill.
Jet operator अच्छा कर रहा है
उसका. Again, it just seems so clean with it, but this is just stat padding at this point, and eventually Lovers Rock will close up with 4K. It's almost identical to the last round. A duelist with a 4K closing out the round, and we are about to head into round number 31. Map 1. The entirety of the tournament is going the distance. But eventually, or at least I hope, we do have to find a winner.
ना जल्दी खुश मत हो लाडले. 16 पे 17.
We've had some long games in our past. We've had some lengthy affairs.
Yes bro. अगर स्ट्रीम में टाइम आउट ले ली फिर BBL.
Iteration of
3 बार तो लोग ही टाइम आउट ले लिए साला BBL ने.
It was BBL. I'm hoping they're not going to do that again, especially with Ascent coming up next. The opportunity for it to maybe even be even longer, but I'm going to see ourselves a timeout taken, a chance to talk through with the coaching staff once again. Of course, Key was pretty much trying to stem the bleeding all the way through that comeback from EDG, and he failed to do so. It's now whether or not he can find that little piece of magic. We've seen a lot of the attack side rounds that sort of defaults into the pace he hits have been what has worked for either side. And with both star duelists stepping up over the last couple of rounds, we always talk about it, that the rest of regulation becomes irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you got 30 kills or you got 2. If you can win an OT round for your team, That's all that matters at this stage.
वापस attacking है इन लोगों का EDG का attacking. भाई ये JMJG का ना popping skill बहुत बड़ा.
Clearly having to work overtime.
I'm fan.
And LaRock going to OT has bought a judge.
Naturally, and he's going to find success with it as well. Now, if Jenny hasn't just hit his desk, I think that's what I heard. I'll be very surprised. That's an upsetting way to have the OT round kick off.
इनको मेरे साथ chill करना चाहिए तब जाके लोग भाई happy होंगे. Happy.
Stood up on top of the wall and he's been spotted, but the blind was good in return. Krevin's found himself too. Sign surrounded is dealt with, and BBL on 16.
Yeah, I think that might have actually been a coach adaptation.
Last round बताओ संसीत भाई कौन निकलेगा ये अभी. Last round चल रहा है, चलने वाला है.
IGL Rose
EDG versus
waiting for them to come through. They killed him. This time you just put a judge there. You walk into that smoke, you're dead to rights, and then they have the players ready and waiting. Solid paranoia coming through from Loiter as well to help out his teammate, and then Krevin just landing the shots as he always does. 16 to 15.
मेरी favorite PCT team by Sentinel थी.
In fact, we're creating a parallel timeline at the moment, but that means this time we need a defensive round from EDG to keep this one going.
Concon's being the one to find success, and again, he's walking about, pushing up on B to start with the flash blind, and so he knows there's someone here. Instead of continuing, wait
he does miss.
But this one, an uncharacteristic miss. In a very crucial round, he goes in for more and misses one spot. This could be it. ENEG lost one big player, the top fragger on the server, down and out. Jenny tries to pull it back, but he's traded, and Lovers Rock finding signs seems to have sealed the deal.
इसका next match हम लोग चल रहे हैं जिसका हम लोग ने 4 था 100 Thieves versus.
All that stands against them. Nobody's had a tough game, but he stepped up in the moments where it mattered. And Chichu, well, he was on a tear. When this team was down and out of this map, he pulled them back in so many of those rounds in regulation. Now they have to do it again.
Okay, ये दोनों ही हैं, ये दोनों ही हैं.
So tough to break in on. Flash, ready and raring to go. On the other side of things, the walk up at least, but it's been pinged. They have an idea that somebody could be going through. Never mind. Chichu made it past. Loiter's position though. Are they aware that there could be a player over towards the box trying to create a crossfire, trying to force someone into a peek, and that's what they've done. Chichu once again, his opponent TP, and they are gonna turn it back.
अबे निकाल दिया बंदे ने चीचू ने.
Enough as well. That is insanity from the side of EDG. How have they pulled back that 2v4?
16 कर दिया बंदे ने.
Nobody's been there in the crucial moments, and Chichu again and again, he is digging deep for this team.
यार coordination साला.
Everyone talks about Concon, and for good reason, but this guy's been the highlight.
यार बिना बोले coordination लोग आज वो जो cross में बैठे ताकि पीछे से उसको cover दे सके ये उसको cover दे.
Was it 17 kills in the first half?
Yes.
Went missing for a bit and then goes, oh, you guys need me again. Cool.
It was like those last 5 rounds of the second half turned it up to another level to keep them alive, and he's done it again. Map point. And up against BBL going into a set. God, that could be series. But now, ENEG, they get another chance at this attack side. Fight straight into C. They're wasting no time on this run. And indeed, wasting bodies because Concon, he's found his first already. Rose catches. Oh, he doesn't catch the wraparound. Jenny's left on 7 HP somehow.
Lovers Rock के पास ऑफ है.
Maybe it's Loiter's
turn. अच्छी है. Lovers Rock की भी
him, looking for the fight, and he'll win it again, no doubt about
Crazy
it.
है team coordination. वही भाई team coordination क्या है लोग sexy है.
Well, nobody's there to close it out. Swings and roundabouts once again.
इतना इसलिए कूदने का नहीं. Neon लेके.
Guess what?
क्योंकि Neon के घान में ना पेट्रोल रगड़े रहता है.
I can't believe Jenny just survived there. Rose was on his tail. Jenny was blinded up, looking the wrong way. Took a few shots, not even knowing from where. And ends up surviving on 7 HP. That's the face of a man who knows that should have been his kill, but also who knows this map is slipping away now. ENEG 17 to 16. It's a matter of time before we see 2 in a row in the same overtime. I mean, 30 and 31 technically, but they were different OTs. You know what I mean. And for ENEG, this could be it. They dealt with Concon early last time, and this time another missed shot. But that was a harder one.
Oh. Already. a much faster paced take, but it's a ruse. It's a bait. They're pushing them in towards Signed, who's ready and waiting, but already getting smoked off. Chichu also with power.
ले गया. Oh fuck, ये लोग blind ही नहीं हुए.
Maybe he's expecting one of the danger men gone.
थोड़ा right में शायद कर दिया था उसने blind.
But if you could lose a 2v4, you could definitely lose a 4v5, sorry. And well, let's even things up once again.
That was what should have won them the round. Leaving all this rock behind Rubble, but nobody cleared it. Nobody checked for it, and now they can make their way back to the side. Hard to find value with the breaking through, but he finds it in the choke points. With LaRock down, it's Rose left, and not for long. EDG, they dug deep and delivered map number 1.
It's insanity. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with an operator get that many kills with that position. It makes no sense that Concon is just able to sit there like a turret from above. And for BBL, this is a brutal defeat. You were so far in the lead. You took double pauses in the space of 3 rounds. That is crazy. Nonetheless, we're going back to Digon and the desk.
Thank you very much, Tom and Mitch. That was crazy to have that happen like that. Just insane. We're getting ourselves free Valorant off the top. I know that we had the pause to kick things off, but we basically had half a game right off of that one. Welcome back.
ग्रुप भी चालू है भाई. क्या कमबैक किए लोग ने. ब्लाइंड ऊपर से चले गया. अब इनका मैच देखेंगे. RRQ वर्सेस 100 थीव. 100 थीव मेरी फेवरेट है. सब सेंटिनल्स छोड़ के उसमें हो गए. You production. अब शायद चालू हो जाए भाई. कमबैक तो अच्छा था यार. अभी RRQ वर्सेस PRX का 7 बजे चालू होने वाला था. आधे घंटे में चालू हो जाएगा PRX का 45 मिनट्स में. भाई बहुत लंबा मैच चले गया. वो इतना लंबा नहीं जाता. ये लोग 7 बजे सोचो स्टार्ट करने वाले थे PRX वर्सेस NRG का. लास्ट टाइम टीम हेरिटेज जीती थी ये EWC का. जी भी है.
BBL, the Kankan was like, what if I grab the operator? I know that the economy, of course, when you're losing so many rounds, it's very difficult to even think of like a tool that is so expensive but so effective in so many maps that we have seen across the entirety of Valorant, having that attack and operator. That actually mentally got to bounce back because we were talking about the teams being here and the stage getting loud. I have never, and I am from EMEA, heard Loita scream the way that he was screaming at them. The rest we see sometimes here and there, but Loita's kind of like a good boy, you know?
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those highlights here, because again, the gameplay required the pop-offs that came out there, especially in overtime. EDG started getting loud, BBL started matching, and then every single round, especially that 2v4 later on, that was game-saving by EDG. And remember,
EDG
this was BBL's map pick,
था.
and we talked about coming into it, the form of these two squads.
Literally,
will
भाई क्या
BBL be able to
comeback
stand up to EDG, who has been doing well lately? They come out on fire and just aren't able to close it on out as we take a look at some of the big moments.
इनका मैच कब चालू होएगा? भाई पूरा 1 आवर 2 आवर से लोग वेस्ट किए. क्रेज कितना बोलते हैं ये. आना यार डायरेक्ट मैच स्टार्ट करने. How start होएगा भाई ये? रोमांटिक म्यूजिक ये कैसा ऐड है रोमांटिक? अरे वो लोग का अपना आ जाता है यूट्यूब। कब आएगा भाई? इतने देर में तो PRX का मैच चालू हो जाएगा।
This is the fourth most played map here for EDG on Ascent. I feel for BBL because they had him on the ropes, right? You were just a couple of rounds away. You had so many in the pocket. They tried to call it a timeout at 11-8 to be like, hey, let's settle down. EDG's warming up a little bit, but we have so many rounds in the pocket from the first half. We should be able to close it out. What's the mentality of a squad like that who had success early on in the league year and now are starting to struggle a little bit?
I mean, you got to find a way to not doubt yourself.
And a cable to stream.
But, you know, we've seen the PRX players talk about this in the past. You've got to have that short-term memory loss. You've got to have that goldfish memory. You've got to be able to put these behind you because they know that they played well enough to win that game. It wasn't a question of the level of Valorant. It's a question of composure. Right. And we know, we've seen them have success over in EMEA. It's not like it's not like they're known to crumble. They just have to remind themselves that they are good enough. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of that stage. It doesn't matter that they're world champions. You're capable to win this game if you play the way you can.
I think that we can also think about how aggressive they were from the defense, especially here on Lotus, and how much are they going to learn about how that worked out, because that aggression on the defense that gave them so much, like even when they got a pick, sometimes the overheating was there, and they need to learn to get composure in those kind of situations, because also it translated to the attack, making a lot of unforced mistakes.
Yeah, well, we are underway here in Paris. The champions of China take the first map, but BBL will battle back here on Ascent. Don't go anywhere. You're watching EWC 2026.
भाई स्ट्रीम बी पे भी चले चलो, वहाँ पे हम लोग को भी मैच देखना है।
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
We were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC.
Have you used Claude? Around 98% of people out there are not able to use Claude to its fullest extent because Claude has many features like Claude Skill, Claude Automation, among others. If you are one of them, I'm missing out on a lot. And people who are able to use Claude to its fullest extent, they are...
ये ग्रुप भी क्या कर रही है भाई?
एक साथ देखो जो देखना है, जब देखना है। टॉप 5 नाइफ्स।
आजा भाई स्ट्रीट पे चल के।
everyone, welcome back to EWC Valorant.
अब Ascent map चल रहा है
alongside Kukuka and Big Time, and yet again we're back. It's EDG 1-0 over BBL. EDG, the #1 seed from China, up against BBL, who started off on fire in EMEA. They qualify on in as the final seed. They lose their map #1. Now we head to Ascent, Kukuka.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be an interesting one, also because of the bar that we were speaking about, that first Lotus set, but also because I think that they have to calm down. I know that the beginning was a little bit difficult because we have to wait and whatnot, and that might throw you off. They tried to stay on top of that, but it really looks like EDG has adapted very, very quickly to the way that they want to play. And it's because they have a lot of experience. It is very difficult to throw something at EDG that they haven't seen before. The aggression, yes, is going to work because, trust me, BBL can shoot, but eventually EDG will pick up.
Yeah, for sure. They're so good at adapting. You see how they get themselves back into the game in this second half. Their defensive side especially was so solid over on Lotus, but now towards Ascent. So it's EDG's map pick, even though they've been banning it, but Ascent is a notoriously Turkish map. It's a map where the whole country seems to thrive through that, they have that pure aim, that firepower. You see it time and time again. So I think this becomes really hard to predict, and I do think that the idea of mental and composure is everything here.
Morgan, but this could be what we want, okay? So Turkish Valorant, right?
Yep, I'm there.
So they win Ascent, and then what do we get?
Sunset.
Exactly.
That's what we want to see,
There's
people.
a plan. You need to plan. You need to plan. It's all here, guys. It's all here.
All right, let's head on over on stage as they are getting ready.
चलो मैच चालू हो गया दूसरा स्ट्रीम भी भाड़ में गई आज.
Before we toss into the match here, I want you both
Ascent map चालू हो रहा है.
Step up, right? It's all about earning things here. Nothing given, everything earned. Who's going to be the hero for each team?
Can we wait until we actually see the agent picks, because I want to know what is going to happen with the sub situation, and if they're going to playing in a different role.
That's true.
So for that, for the side of BBL, as I was saying, I think that I know that the one that didn't put up the numbers was Rose, but that is also the way that it is in EMEA, and he always says that he is just there to make everybody else shine, and with the players that he has, it's very easy to do something like that. To me, I kind of want to keep seeing the operator duel. I'm kind of really enjoying the Kang Lovers Rock, because none of them is scared of the other.
Oh, definitely
and I think Lovers Rock started so hot in that map one. He was consistently finding those openings down C with that operator, and you see it slowly come to a stop as Kang begins to activate. For me, on the side of BBL, if he's able to be consistent, he can do so much work for them, but he can't afford to fall off. That experience from EDG.
Composure, experience, and also the mental side of this. We always speak about how it's easier to bounce back from a game where they just destroyed you, from a map where, as we said, they had everything in their favor, winning the 2 pistols, some crazy rounds, the ninja defuse, the ecos and whatnot. So let's see where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have the agent select coming through.
Oh, chamber!
It's getting spicy for EDG.
And the Sage!
And I love the Sage here.
I love this!
See, no, you asked me, Kukuka, do you want to see them play standard, or do you want to see them get a little bit spicy with it? And they've done exactly that.
They're not love
afraid.
This.
But on the side of BBL...
Sage, God. Okay. Seriously, I want this to be an absolute stomp from EDG. I cannot believe that I am saying it, but I want them to destroy right now with this composition. I want them to give them confidence to keep doing it throughout the tournament, and to do it in China as well.
I will say it's going to be tough in this first half. They have to attack into Cypher deadlock without much to really be able to burst through. Not a lot, no verticality. Only the Phoenix there as that solo duelist. So I think this first half is going to be crucial for that double senti of BBL to be able to build up some numbers, put a real stop to EDG.
Yeah, again, this is a Group A matchup, EDG and BBL, alongside RRQ and 100 Thieves, which will play later on. You want to get that great start here, and for EDG, they were on the back foot and showed the spirit of a champion, forcing that overtime, time and time again, going to all 5 overtimes, 34 rounds, but get the job done in that last map on Lotus. Here, pulling out this composition that is exciting. It's changing things up. As you said, it's been banned. Ascent has been their ban and now showing up with something new that maybe BBL won't be prepared for.
And it's also the change of roles, right? Like we saw Jenny going in the race on Lotus. Now he's in the Omen and it's going to be Signed who is going to be going on that Phoenix. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders because we see that even though you have the chamber and whatnot, looking forward to what Cheech is going to be doing and how cheeky he's going to be getting with the Sage. Yeah. Especially for them on the attack will be to force the players from BBL outside of the site, just play for that plant and then just play for the post plant. If you are EDG, you have a lot of tools to try and delay them. I want to know though, from that post plant, how aggressive they're going to be.
All right, here we go. Already one map win here for China as a region. They only had 2 map wins overall all of last EWC. Let's see what happens here. We're going into Ascent, EDG and BBL.
Alrighty, it's time to get into this map number 2, Tom. If the first one was anything to go by, well, it was, I think we might be in for a long day. But
आगे भाई 2 लोग देख रहे हो, please like कर देना stream को.
For EDG, a one-sided affair from start to finish.
It's kind of mad that we have an EMEA traitor in the form of Big Time on the desk, and now Bayer's starting to do it too. I feel like there's a full conversion coming in, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I would still love to see a lot coming out, but it's Kankan already managing to get a couple of openers. Chichu finding another as well. We were worried about the entrying in towards the site, but it seems like Kankan has them covered in the pistol.
Rock and Lloyd up with it all to do, and well, anyone that does want to see a blowout in favor of EDG, this is the start you're looking for. Look at Kankan already sneaking up behind. Could even be a knife kill being played up. Said he's going to grab the easy one. Confirm the kill. 3 under his belt already. And LaRock, with it all to do, should be impossible and proves to be 1-0 for EDG. And this pistol gives a lot of value to this EDG side. As you heard from Big Time earlier on, this first half is going to be crucial for BBL, playing the double Sentinel. Now, look, we've seen over time, and things do change as different metas evolve, but I think especially with Deadlock, that double Sentinel on the attack side isn't as weak as you would think. You're missing some pieces, sure, but when you do get onto the site, you can lock that down. You have a lot more flexibility in terms of the utility you have to stop floods, to stop early aggression as well. So it definitely does still have his benefit, but I do agree with him that this is the half where it has the most for most teams.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the case for both teams. It's like you're going to, normally with a Phoenix, you'd expect it to be more attack-sided, but I think just having those contact flashes is really good. But then also, you've got a Chamber and a Sage, both of which are always pretty deadly.
पूरा spawn पहुंच गया ये बहन के लुल्लो क्या कर रहा है लवर्स रॉक भाई पीछे देख ले थोड़ा ले गए दोनों गए ओहो sexy भाई
a stronger weapon would have done the trick already though, getting towards that tour de force, which is a pretty scary prospect, and another ult that's building up now is the run it back.
Of course, Kankan is the one to make that play, a weaker weapon in play in the form of Marshall. A very clean round for EDG. BBL in this round, you don't expect to see a player fishing for information like that because you're risking giving a weapon over, and often grouping up, taking that clump play is what works.
Line of fire
Kankan really sealed the deal without any danger. Exposing his teammates to any. Now, the formality out of the way. The first 2 rounds, a little bit more predictable, a little bit more standard, a little bit plain. But now the spice comes into the mix. A bye for both teams and a strong 3rd round for EDG. I mean, this is a bonus, sure, but they have credits and they've got pretty much a full bye here. McConkon already 5-0. A tour de force might not be far away. So for BBL, you need to be careful. That's a little over-aggressive, I thought, from Lover's Rock, but he does get out with 1.
Yeah, had the dash available. That's going to be enough to allow him to escape, and now the contact. I like the wall boost. It gives them an angle that you wouldn't normally have. The spam damage has actually done a significant amount, and the Molotov's going to force Loiter into a move. Even still, though, both players still standing, and now you have that barrier mesh put into play. Even still, though, a hefty amount of damage done onto those couple of
फटे लो है
players.
दोनों लोइटा और
Definitely
लवर्स
makes
रॉक
things a
दोनों
little
लो
bit more
हैं
uncomfortable on that side of the map.
Oh, it's going to make this push a lot easier if BBL hadn't rotated so many players into position. That's the other problem. Now, 4 standing by here with Rose covering the flank. And they will slowly walk away. They did make some noise. I think Lorak will have heard that. But often that's going to be a bait from the attack side to get you to push, to get you to peek, or to get you to rotate. Rose,
he has to get something.
There's 3 players on that catwalk. They're not even looking at him. It should
no!
He gets nothing.
This has been a problem. He's been in good positions, but he's never been finding the kills. Because of that, they're going the other way. Now, the only danger is that they are a little low on time, but they're going to get past all the utility before that's a problem. And also, they've caught Loiter on the other side. This is an opportunity for a great start, especially with a lurking Kankan wrapping around the back and the re-swing as well. A nice attempt from Larocque, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Great read from EDG. The second that they killed Rose, they realized, why would he be there?
Yeah.
It's because they've already rotated because we made so much noise. Instantly, they direct themselves towards B. What would have happened if he just stayed tucked, not even took a shot? They would have ran with 20 seconds left into a 4-man stack on a site that has a lot of choke points for those numbers to hold. That would have probably been a lost round for EDG, and a mistake there sends EDG miles into the lead. A 3-0 start and a very low buy for BBL in this round. They're saving credits for the next. And a 4-0 for EDG is a terrifying prospect, especially with the second round being clean. They have a lot of credits built up. And if this is clean as well...
A lot of credits. No ultimates used yet because they didn't get to any of them. So now they're built up for this round. And there you go. Run it back just to try and send it through some of that utility. Early pick coming in. Oh dear, another opportunity, but not taken. Kreven's only going to get the one, even still trading back into it. Slightly more even
sheriff लेके भाई जो ये sheriff लेगा पहले वही sheriff ही लेके मारेगा.
He lands a shot, but it barely does any damage, and the spams will be enough in the end. It's not clean, it's not pretty. It's not a round I want to remember, but it is a round for EDG.
Yeah, I'm really glad they used that run it back to avoid any unnecessary damage taking place, or in other words, to avoid losing the round, because they didn't clear Kreven there. He should have even gotten more, and then Loida ends up landing a tag with the bookie close range. This is very nearly a lost round, but hey, they had a lot of wiggle room to work with because they had a lot of credits built up. So the important thing for BBL there is, yes, they did damage. Yes, they kept the squad a bit more modest. But the downside is ENEG don't really care. They can come into this round with a full buy. They can go into the next one with a full buy. They have a tour de force to work with as well. So not even investing into the operator and still having that one-shot weapon on Concon.
Which one?
Exactly.
With him, it's all 3. Oh. The Rock. Annihilation is available.
Push हो गया. EDG ने कर
time
दिया.
to use it, that'll be more important. He's definitely slowed them down. I like the little aggression up the top, then use the Annihilation, tries to make it harder to break. Instead, he's spamming forward, and Rose will be the one to find the kill. Loiter in the corner has also done incredible work. Although it's taken them a little bit of time to get going, this one will be clean.
And you can see why this comp is so strong on the defensive side, or why Big Time was talking about how important this first half will be for BBL, or more so for EDG, because the second half will be a little easier, but pushing into this Senti comp should be tough. And here you see exactly why. You have a Cypher set up on B, you also have a push in B as well. And then that Deadlock utility not only helps on a main where they run out into a Sonic Sensor and get stunned, giving an easy tee up for Loida to slam dunk at home. And then on short as well, you have the net going through, the kill from the net, and then the ult, which also caught a player who was hit by the net. So when you're out of the ult, you can't move, and it's the easiest follow-up of their life. For the defense, yeah, you get that one, but a lot of that came off Larocque's setup, catching them off guard, and the ult being online.
AW
a bit of damage, but looking like a much more direct take. Again, though, that sensor in an aggressive position, executing onto it could cause an issue. Instead, they're going to try and utilize the Hunter's Fury to give them a little bit of extra space. The problem is, hasn't found anyone. They don't know what positions are cleared, and they do not clear Larocque. Another great start to the round. The net has actually caught 2 players as well, but he's just making sure they stay safe at this stage. A lot of early damage, and sure, there's a res available, but is there an opportunity to use it?
Look at where the bodies are. Not only are they behind the wall, but there's 3 players ready. and waiting for that res to come through or for another body to come through that choke point.
And mid is covered as well with the operator.
No risk of the rotate back, and then because they've got double Senti, not only do you have that Sentinel slowing you down on the A site, you have information for BBL. Nobody on the B site, but a camera and a trap waiting there. And yeah, it won't be
41
ideal if EDG just walk in, break the trip, and get a plant, but that's why they've got this man around. Lovers Rock realizes they have enough time now to have rotated, so he's set up and waiting for it.
Been hitting one here could be enough.
Operator hai ladlo gaya.
They're rotating this way. He still doesn't have any friends to play with at this point, but the TP to the back of site, he can just ignore it or at least try and wait out a little longer. His teammate in position, and he has done the work. A back-to-back flawless round from BBL. And this time, well, I'm a little happier to see that it was Lovers Rock on the other side of the map. No offense to Rose, but he's definitely been having some fairly devastating whiffs in this game so far. Lovers Rock, not so much. He's been having a good day.
Well, there was a point, like 20 rounds into the last map, Rose had only killed people who were looking the other way. So
yeah, and even when they were looking the other way, he still didn't get a kill.
I think it was about 50% conversion rate, so which includes going into the overtime, the run around onto Jenny. It's been a rough day for Rose.
And sometimes he's hella clutch.
Sometimes the leaders call from behind, back behind the front lines.
Yeah.
That's what he's up to for now. But we have seen it, like even going through the qualifier, Rose was dropping 20 like almost every map. It was definitely a standout for this squad. And that's the thing, right? BBL have a lot to fall back on because he was the one that was discussed when they were going through that Ascension run through the Tier 2 that like, oh, all of these guys, the young guys on the team are going to be in BCT. Whether they qualify or whether they get picked up, we know it's going to happen. But people were like, oh, even if they make it, even if they get all the way through, Rose is going to be on the chopper block. He's old, he can't aim, and all these things. And then he showed us right away, even through that run, that wasn't what he was, that he had that extra gear to shift to. Yeah. Maybe we need to see that here today because it has been a slow day for him.
Yeah, I think as well. He's one of those people where a lot of people will focus on the IGL stats. I think if you're winning games, it's completely irrelevant. Like, the fact is, this squad has talked about being like a family for quite a long time. I think that's why when Comeback initially left, it was a devastating loss. But Lovers Rock, the man who replaced, quickly became a new
technical pause हुआ wire निकल गया था शायद
version of that family and the thing is I think it wouldn't be the same without Rose in it. You'd have that firepower but you would
technical
lose
glitch हुआ
so
था
much more. Now a good couple of rounds like not just okay you're looking at scoreline 4-2 you're saying that's not great. 2 rounds where 0 people have died on the defensive side and that sets you up wonderfully for rebuys. If you want the operator you can have the operator and I think for EDG it's going to be fairly important that they break back quite quickly but this round not looking too likely.
No, but I mean, Headhunters on Con-Con's basically an extra rifle every round. Raz online for Chichu might bring Con-Con back, so that's an extra gun every round. And
so your strategy is basically pass to Will. Pass to.
Oh. I know what that means.
Okay.
No time to explain.
Okay. But I'm sure that is my strategy. Unless it's a bad thing, in which case it's not my strategy.
No, it's a reference some people might get, some people might not.
I'm the latter of those. You can explain it to me for tomorrow. That's a trap broken to start with, but there is a second one here, and this was the idea from Previn to have that little backup to give them space to contain the walkout, although not through the alley, but playing this very, very slowly. Initial contact on B. B players now from the defense in that direction, but this wall's going to cause problems.
No,
it's not. In fact, it's going to cause problems for BBL. LaRock was walking up to it to have a little look.
Oh my, okay, maybe the pistols are actually a benefit rather than doing any damage. Con with 2 Previn. He's trying to save the day though. The problem though is if they can get the spike, they can leave. Oh, a res there, yeah, I was about to say, that would just be sending that player into the wolves instead. Space is being taken. Con-Con's retrieved the gun, the res is available, so maybe he could play a little bit more aggressively, and he's been spotted, rotating in towards that A side, but being spotted and dealing with him is a completely different story.
So no chances for the res in the end. Plant to come through. Con goes down. Of course, you can't bring him right back.
Lovers Rock game bajayega ladlo.
They're split. An op on the retake as well. Lovers Rock will take his time, making his way through A main, hoping to catch an angle and find that shot with the op. His target right down below. It will be Concon in hell that he's searching for. The barrel's being spotted. He knows now that there's one there. Kraven's trying to pull them out into the open, and he does a great job at that. Lover's Rock there for both of the final kills, but a big round from Kraven gave them this chance.
Oh, yeah. They should have been dead to rights. What was it 3 picks going the way of the attack side in quick succession? 2 for Concon. His lurk timing was perfect. Nobody then wins a fight, and then Kraven just turns the round on its head. Mr. Impact himself saving them once again, and it's going to be at lead, slowly slipping. The 4-0 start for EDG. Obviously, what we can say is it doesn't matter too much because we'll see what they can do in a second half on a defensive side. But I'm sure after going that far into the lead, they will have wanted to at least look to try and convert the half.
Pausa técnica mola. We'll be taking a breather. But what we've seen so far is exactly as Big Time said. You know, I'm starting to think he might know a thing or two about Valorant, but I'm not too sure yet. He said
it's not about food. He knows nothing about food.
No, absolutely not. Although, ask that man about a fruit platter, and he'll tell you a thing or two.
He is an expert. He is a big fan.
Intimately familiar with that. Yes. But he said that the double sentinel composition was going to be key. Well, let's put it this way. It's the key for BBL, and it's the lock that EDG have to break. And when it comes to this defensive side, when it comes to the rounds BBL have put up, all 3 come off the back of those sentinels. Kraven, not so much with the utility, no more him popping off.
It's a bit of a stretch.
But him playing the anchor is the reason that he's over there, even when there were numbers, even when they dealt with those first few players, he was still there.
What was the first blood of the round?
I don't remember.
It was one of the Sentinels getting caught out by their own utility and being shot in the head.
Oh, the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the other thing we got to talk about. You throw the wall there. Okay, maybe you're trying to clear there could be a guy in the corner. I mean, he's going to break the wall if he's there. He'll give that away in a moment. He's not going to sit there for 40 seconds. Why did he go walkabouts? Why did you walk towards? That's like you throw the wall, rotate. And now we've got info for a bit. But that was a different approach up against an eco.
Okay, mouse work nahi kar rahe ho bande.
Exactly what he deserved.
Well, for now at least, EDG do still hold on to the lead, but you're starting to see, as you were sort of alluding to, the terrifying prospect of what this composition can do on the defense, the awkwardness that it can
और लाडले ये कौन सा टूर्नामेंट है टोटल कितने स्पेक्टर है तुम्हारे जैसे इंडिया की कोई टीम है इंडिया की कोई क्या जी रहेगी.
It makes me quite happy because I think we talk about the pressure put on to players to perform immediately, and when Yoro was
का मैच कल है
to sort of reinvent himself a little bit. He was one of the
कितने
best.
स्पेक्टर है तुम्हारे जैसे
maybe even the world.
स्पेक्टर तो है
on that age.
आ रहे जा रहे ऐसा
and it
नहीं है.
became almost his character. Like he
एक टीम भाई जी रहेगी कल रहेगा उसका मैच. माउस EDG का नहीं वर्क कर रहा था तो टेक्निकल ग्लिच हुआ था. लेट्स गो वापस EWC है ब्रो. रियाद में जो हो रहा है उसकी वॉच पार्टी चल रही है.
But he started to get
ज़्यादा
better
लोग
towards
नहीं
the
है
end,
so
and I think we're seeing that now.
धीरे-धीरे आएंगे.
Even more so into the operator.
Demotivate नहीं
And
होने
especially
का.
on defensive sides, I think he's a force to be reckoned with.
Nice little angle as we saw the boys get ready to get back into the game. EDG setting their seats up, gave that same aura.
अब क्या हो रहा है?
It's like the Space Marines suiting up.
भाई जो आए हो न्यू लाइक कर देना. अच्छा भाई ये जो सब बच्चे हैं ना भाई बच्चे हैं ना भाई.
A lot of control for BBL in the passive plays. They've walked out with the operator. Lovers
बच्चे कहाँ नहीं भाई सब अपना अपना खेल अच्छे प्लेयर ले रहे भाई.
That's a beautiful start to this round when so much of it has been about sitting back
इंडिया में
and
इतना
waiting.
स्कोप नहीं है ना किसी का.
Okay, they got smoke.
वहाँ बचपन से गेमिंग वेमिंग सिखाते हैं गेमिंग के
उसमें. Normally you might send a player in, they get traded.
अपने इंडिया में इतना स्कोप ही नहीं है गेमिंग को लेके. अब धीरे-धीरे हो रहा है. अभी ENC में टीम इंडिया गई है ना NSP से. लाइटनिंग फास्ट लोग जिसमें वहाँ की कंट्री में गेमिंग को ज़्यादा सपोर्ट करते हैं. वहाँ हर स्पोर्ट्स को ज़्यादा सपोर्ट करते हैं ब्रो. बस इंडिया में बस पैसे खाने के लिए जिसमें पैसा ज़्यादा रहेगा उसको करते हैं जाके खाने मिले. बाकी सब चीज का पैसा खा जाते हैं. नाइस वन. 4v4 कमबैक अच्छा की. भाई ये सब रेडिएंट वाले होंगे ना भाई. हाँ रेडिएंट तो है. अब रेडिएंट
But this is the read the players had. They want to play a little bit more aggressive. get back to how we like to play the game.
Like कर देना भाई, जो नहीं आया प्लीज like कर देना.
3 rounds in a row off the back of passive play. I don't think EDG saw that one coming. And after the first bit of aggression, I don't think they saw that second one coming. Nor should they have.
Is this? I can't remember if they took one in OT. Is this the first?
अभी प्यास लग गया, अभी इनको माउस का वर्क नहीं कर रहा था, टेक्निकल पॉज लिए थे, अब इनको प्यास लग गई है. आज मेरा प्रीमियर भी है गाइस, हम प्रीमियर खेलेंगे 8:30 बजे. तुम इनसे जीत पाओगे? नहीं भाई, ये लोग ज्यादा है, प्रो है ब्रो. ये लेवल पे आप लोग कभी कुछ है ही नहीं. ये लेवल पे जहाँ ये लोग लेवल पे हैं, अभी आप वो सब लेवल के लायक ही नहीं है.
It seems like what's happening right now from the BBL side is they're doing a good job of disrupting whatever play the attackers want to make. Like, okay, you have a plan to do this, well now you've lost a player, and you're trying to react to me rather than going in with your own plan. So we'll see if they're going to manage to fix that. Of course, again, weaponry is going to be a bit more of an issue in this round, and they don't have any ultimates to play with, bar if they can get an extra orb for signed.
This is a nice spot. That goes there.
Barriers up again after the timeout.
अरे 3 लोग हैं. लवर्स रॉक का भी ऑपिंग अच्छा है, बट हक दिया.
The shot to start with it. Going back in. Flash. Well done for Sign to at least get them around that corner, but this
ओहो, ट्रिप तोड़ दिया उसका भाई एक.
Too much.
Odin निकाल लिए.
A little bit too much. He's punished massively.
Odin किसने निकाला? अच्छा, रोज ने निकाला है Odin.
And now you're playing up close, Rose. If you're a madman, they've allowed a flank again. What is happening in this game? They've done pushing on short against Nico.
अरे 1 hour के बाद प्रीमियर है आपका. हाँ, 8:30 पे प्रीमियर है.
3 versus 5 now. Weapons recovered for EDG. Run it back online, and Jenny's probably about to just pull her off the bed. Never mind. He's at least going to be dealt with, but still the advantage for the defense when they shouldn't have had anything to say about this round.
Oh yeah.
See you later, Rose. And that leaves Craven on this side alone.
Rose ने हक दिया Odin लेके. वो लोग क्लासिक शेरिफ से निकाल रहे गेम. भाई कल एक चेम्बर आया तो ऑफ से 1v5 कर रहा था बार-बार. वही ना ब्रो, आप भी प्रो बजेंगे. अरे आगा, अरे क्या हगा Odin लेके. क्या इंटरनेट इशू है.
I might as well kill the guy that won't come back. Yeah. Like, it makes sense. It's the right call. But yeah, this, I think just call a timeout if you're BBL.
वापस timeout ले लिए.
You have trip, I can't believe. A triple
नहीं लिए timeout. सोवा ने Odin निकाला है.
The third one.
3 peaks back to back.
Odin लेके हक दिया था भाई.
If he was full HP and he goes for the third one, I'm like, that was silly.
But he had his dash on, so he was like,
he had 45 HP, I think, when he goes for that swing. I'm like, hey, you get body shot out of the round. Like that's crazy.
1 minute भाई.
To attempt it.
To then push short as a okay. Well, that looked like a really cool play and a cool setup, but it hasn't worked.
आपका issue हो रहा है क्या?
Oh no,
not so much. He'll be pulled back from what would have been the dead in a 3 versus 2. Setup. That was a crazy opening from BBL to go aggressive like that in B main. The cloudburst blocking the op, and yet they find nothing for it except a disadvantage in the end. This time earlier.
अरे भाई ये सीन इधर क्या बोलते हैं?
Aggression favoring
बारिश हो रहा है ना.
And now EDG just sitting back. They have the advantage. They have the spike. There's no need for them to overthink this. And as time ticks on, the chances of them
मेरा इशू हो रहा है इंटरनेट इशू. बारिश हो रही है बाहर. एयर फाइबर है तो लग ही रहे. बट
plenty of time to play with. Like this. Craven though. The odds of you winning a 3v1 on the site, very low. Maybe not for him, but very low. Whereas grouping up, playing it together, that makes things at least a little bit more interesting. Steps will be heard. Bros at the back of the site. Teammate just Eating for the push, and it seems like nobody was watching it, but do they still expect Rose to be here? They absolutely do not! And that's where the IGL could strike. Again, we talk about him getting kills when the player's back's turned, but hey, he has to put himself in those positions.
Exactly. He keeps getting his way behind them, so
खेलना
he
है
can't really
वाईफाई भी ना जाए दोनों ना जाए
a wild attempt
भाई
here.
ये क्या सोवा है भाई
Just
रोज
doesn't
भाई जो
work out,
हगरे ना
at
उड़न
least to
लेके
start with,
पर
because
अपन कुछ
BBL
बोल
wanted B-main aggression
सकते
for two reasons. One, to kill them, to fight them. And two, if they're not there, if they're close by, if they're in mid, they'll go scurry into the A site when they
अब
hear all that
समझा
noise.
मैं
And they'll go into not just your Cypher setup, but your Deadlock setup as well. They had both Sentinels positioned there with full utility online.
Let's play.
Instead, EDG met them on the push. Found success.
Oh,
That's a
मटका
nasty little
फूटा
stab from
मटका
Rose.
फूटा छे
You'll love to see it. And the Phoenix down and out already. This is the only duelist that NRG have. We talked about their inability to get up and over some of these traps to get by them, and now your ability to fight through them massively nerfed.
Standoff. The tour de force available. EP just going towards the switch, but almost used as a bit of a bait. A lot of players are known to be here at this point. And it's the jump across. I like the attempt. Not quite quick enough.
And that's what gets him.
Nobody over the top. The wall has definitely been seen. They know that they're trying to play peekaboo around the window.
Yes, bro.
Pichu hasn't dropped off. He is still waiting just to see if he can find a pick.
एसेंट हो और ओडेन ना हो ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता है एसेंट पूरा ओडेन के लिए अलग बात है अभी वहाँ कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम चालू करके ये साइड बैन कर दिए ओडेन
It's like the fifth pick over the top of the wall.
तो पहले इतना ओडेन होता था एसेंट पे ना
like the whole round like yeah but I know you're up there
4v3 चल रहा है Owen ओडेन
Away at the wrong moment. Lloyd has been caught with his knife out. The smoke up for Rose. To walk through this, the timing
left
could be crucial. Konkon's being so patient. The trap thrown down. It's Rose's time to go, and there we go. Striking from behind again. Rose just keeps on doing it, man.
गांड फट गई मेरी
Crazy how
आइस बॉक्स आने वाला था ना हाँ यार आने वाला था आया नहीं सनसेट आ गया उसके लिए
okay well no one's going to be looking at this now so I'm going to run through
but Breeze भी इस जाने वाला था बोल रहे थे
deny the spike anyway
It's the fact that he waited because he knows it has an activation time. So when you
लोगों
throw
ना
it down,
bind लाना
wait a
चाहिए
second to be like, does anyone push? No, okay, I can go. And then he comes out just as it's activated. You even heard it. It
और
started to
ब्रीज
tag
और
it,
आइस
and he
बॉक्स
stepped through the smoke.
डाल देना
He took
चाहिए
his kill
फ्रैक्चर
just in
जाने
time.
वाला था सुना था
Great play by Rose.
हाँ फ्रैक्चर
Smart
बहुत
player.
गंदा मैप है
That's the thing. See him hit these heights quite often. For BBL, early aggression on A main. The drone's going to be broken by the first man, and now the op just posts on the angle. It should be good night and sweet dreams.
But निकाला
for
knife
Concon,
से.
and that it will be.
he's been the major danger Teacher's gone a bit quiet and a 7-5 half looking more and more likely from 4-0 down. This has been an impressive recovery. But as we stated at the beginning, BBL have struggled on the attack side of this map. It definitely won't be a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe just a little bit. If he'd lost that
Odin.
Nobody. Well, we saw a 1v5 earlier today. Unfortunately, he is on the attack. And he has 45 seconds.
MP?
Well, he expects them to push him. Note to any. Here,
बड़ी लाला वेट कर रहे nobody लाला
at this point, you know, you keep the go, you keep the credits, but then you KD, yeah. Swap halves, and it doesn't really swap sides.
KD does.
It's true. KD carries on.
यहाँ क्यों फेंक रहे हैं?
पर
अपने साथ भी ऐसा अपन बोल नहीं सकते क्योंकि इनको लोकेशन ही नहीं पता है. अपने को दिख रहा है इस रेड एंड ब्लू.
7-5 at the half, a big recovery from BBL indeed. But this is why when we saw those first, like the third round especially, go the way of EDG, we're like, this is a danger. Because they've already built up a lot of runway, and with just a little bit more chiseling away, they've ended up in a pretty reasonable position. I think this half overall, at least from their camp, is going to be looked at in a positive light.
Yeah, I think it's more just the manner. Like, if you go, okay, you're going to get 5 rounds on your attack side with this composition, they go, yeah, all right, that's not too bad. I'll take it. If you go, you're going to win the first 4, and then from then onwards only get 1, Maybe not so much. I think I'd be a little bit disappointed that they didn't at least level up at the half, but I think for the side of BBL, like, this is the bare minimum, but I've never really been convinced by their attack side. You look at them when they even...
भाई 10 का सट्टा लगाते हैं कौन जीतेगा?
They then lose the attack 4-8, but that's enough to win the map 13-11.
पहले तो रुको अच्छा याद आया भाई मेरे को पोल चेंज करने दो
defensive side half, and then
क्योंकि ये पोल 30 हो गया है अपन BBQ versus
their attack sides in recent form have been weak on this map, and I think up against the Sage and the Chamber of Kankan, who is hitting, it's going to be much harder going into the second half.
Without a doubt, this is where EDG find a whole lot more of an upside. For BBL, like we said, a 7-5.
भाई 10-20 रुपए मेरे को सुपर चैट कर दो bro.
The composition has its drawbacks when it comes to making that push. BBL have their drawbacks when it comes to making those pushes as well.
And
so when we get into that second half, you want to keep your eye out. You want to see Rose keep up that strong performance he's been having so far. A chance on the attack side.
अभी अपन लगाएंगे EDG पे मैं लगाता है इसमें.
It's hard to imagine. I very much enjoyed seeing him on this map, especially contrasted to the previous.
I think now though that you go into this attack side and Lovers Rock becomes a
pinnacle
part.
At least मेरा $100 का टारगेट तो कंप्लीट होगा तभी मेरा ये इनकम कुछ चालू होगा.
Entries in towards the site. Like, they don't have a lot really to set them up. Post plant, beautiful stuff. Like, they've got so much available to them in post plant. It is quite difficult, almost like the old school Jet.
Okay,
like,
अभी
dash in
EG
for
का
a
defending.
smoke, try and kill someone. If not, hopefully get traded. That's the plan.
बाहर बैठे आने के लिए.
Defensive side.
हो गए सब रिवील हो गए.
Instead, looking for a mid battle. Yeah, in the same boat, but showing a lot of patience, so much so that EDG will have to reset hold extremities. Of course, they're allowed to do this because they have a Sage wall inside B main and a chamber trap covering A main. So if this was a quick push on the extremities, they'd have the info and they could instantly get behind them. That is a big pickup, though, by Lovers Rock.
Yeah, that was an attempt from Kankan to avoid the drone. He avoided the drone, but got shot in the face by the player expecting him to do it. Signed, or timing his going to be everything. It's a quick trade. I think for BBL, that's okay. Keep the man advantage alive. And now they head into the site of Gianni. Playing Jenny.
That he is.
Daddy.
That's great. Of course, it's a narrow laneway. The Rock just spams away. Taking it with ease. Finding the plant. Leaving nobody in Chichu. Other side of the map, miles away. And they're going to be delayed even further if they decide to come in through heaven. There's a wall waiting for them there. You just saw LaRock throw that up. They shift contact up. Clock is going to bleed quicker.
This is the problem. Like, even in a pistol round where you don't normally have all of your utility, it's just so much time bought. The net is going to do the same. You have to take the time to remove it. Paranoia then does the same. And it is just easy pickings in the post plant. An opportunity maybe, but no. It is LaRock who's going to be able to get 4 kills. And that's so much more important than you might realize, because one of the few real entry tactics they have is the Annihilation. That ultimate is so irritating to play against because, say you're a Sentinel, say you're playing a passive position, there are so many, especially because you can bounce around the Jenny, maybe clear another spot at the same time. And if you get someone, it's going to be very awkward to try and fight to get them safe.
But it's just so much better on the attack, I feel like. At least thinking of all the times we've seen it used. If you use it on the defense, what are the chances that guy's alone? It's so rare. Always there's someone there to shoot it. And yeah, you can follow up on the kill afterwards, of course. That's a different thing entirely. But when you come to this half, who's going to be with you? Maybe one guy? And while you're breaking him out, everyone's rushing you. So it is a really good tip of the spear. Great. A big upside for BBL.
Okay.
Well, they've lost the duel to a classic, which isn't a great start, but that was one of the pistols, of which there is another.
He definitely didn't expect it to be stood in the open.
but didn't he pull out a shock dart when he saw him? He saw him and then went, hold on, I can get this guy. Old-fashioned, medieval style. What the hell? Well, that's not worked out, has it? Stage heal as well. Nobody went from 10 HP
You know what that
dead
is? Rose is a man of honor.
If they lose this round, man.
I will not
if
kill him while
nobody
he's
gets a
in my drone.
4K and wins this round.
He got healed as well, so he's not even low anymore. That's tickled me. That's tickled me a lot. Good paranoia. Yenny's now going to get rid of Loiter. Larocque still going strong. Spams through, doing a lot of damage, but nobody's still standing. Another shock time, and he gets Rose!
Enemy kill.
Oh, the free kill. Not so free. There is 15 seconds.
Can they make it? 12 from market, maybe just about 10. Yeah. They're good. They're good. Yeah. Down to the second, but it works. Nice cross coverage by Lover's Rock. Yeah, that's why he needs that kill. And even getting aggressive, I don't mind it that much, but the timing is awful.
Mara, bandit se mara.
Like, this is still winnable. This is still doable. But he's so low. 50 HP effective. Doesn't take a tag there at least. Still not going to pop that ult. But here it is. Sonic Sensor finds one. There's one eaten by the ultimate and the spray. So close. 20 HP left unsigned, but it's enough.
Just let him die.
We good. We good. He's like, yeah, you should have died earlier, bro. Like, come on. You're looking to be alive. I need to what is going
8 seconds left.
bro?
He had so much time.
Don't show the Rose one, please. Please don't show the Rose one. I just don't. Okay, thank you to our replay ops.
He's just like, see you later, bro. He's giving him the
I
orb.
can't believe he's just
Giving
left
the
him
orb.
alive.
Giving him the orb.
That's so kind of him.
Yeah, look, and because of that,
But he's 2 away.
two
Yeah.
away.
Could have given
Good
him.
orb management.
Yes. Phenomenal.
Could have had a gun, but
Yeah, the credits are a bit low, actually.
oh, Rose. I hate that you also spoke it into existence. He didn't quite get, I think you said 4K. He ended up with 3. But nobody was definitely the difference maker. Very nice. Okay, a molly kill early on. And then the swing out. Oh, dear. Larocque is still hitting. Larocque is definitely still hitting on this attack side half.
Those are weapons recovered now. 2 rifles in the hands of these attackers. And a push up into window. Lover's Rock. It's a little long on the first, but he's left nobody. Desperately low. 1 away from a Hunter's Fury. Heal at least can come through in a while. Now it's needed by both. Chichu's just swung out. 58 HP and a heal. Priming in his back pocket. But he didn't care. He took the risk, and well, it's almost paid off. 1 more man to deal with. Look at this from nobody and Chichu. They're backing out. The flank here could have been deadly, but instead, they're the ones with the surprise position. Larocque might think that they've fully left, but they are standing close by, ready to pounce. Soon as he tries to plant, it seems like Larocque is just... In fact, he's taken so long that they now second guess whether he's even... That's just changed.
They'll hear him. They'll know. At least giving himself a little bit more of an opportunity. The net is going to land as well, so slows them down at least a little bit. Gives him additional information. Looking to try and wrap back round behind them, but nobody's aware. Doesn't
14.
quite connect the shots. 14 health, and he's managed to get rid of another. Leaves it down to a 1 versus 1, him versus nobody. And he finds the shot again! Larocque is on fire as it stands, and he is dragging BBL through these rounds.
Yeah, he started that with a Sheriff. 2 players pushing him in a smoke. And he finds both blinded as well, nearsighted. So he saw the second guy. First one hadn't got a clue. Just saw the kill feed light up. To win this out in the end as well. Yeah, Chichu was quite low and probably shouldn't have ran there without his teammate. It was a mistake, a silly one. But especially with Larocque, 14 HP.
Rose 22 and 8.
Expect that to be how it went. Now, BBL stepping inch by inch closer to a map 3. Would have been a 2-0 that they're encroaching on. A round away. Times.
Here.
Facing off against pistols. This should be double digits. Set it for BBL on the last map, and they won't round that.
Take flight.
Just as dangerous when they have pistols.
Enemy tag.
Say the same thing for NRG, and with a run it back in Hunter's Fury.
Nowhere to run. Reply destroyed.
Right away. Oh picked up 2. The Hunter's Fury down through A main. Sent BBL now to a 3 versus 5. The rifles dealt with, and it's going to be a late push up by the defense to recover those weapons. Ult through for Larocque. Hasn't found a target just yet, and when he does, it is the ult that's caught. So if they can break him out, great. If not, he's going to come back, but look who's sitting, patiently waiting. Beautiful play for Larocque.
As managing to do so much for this team, as said, dragging them, kicking and screaming and going for the ace! Back-to-back rounds won by Larocque. That is 9 kills in 2 rounds. This guy was spoken about so much in his tier 2 come up, but now he is dominating in this server.
Especially considering it started with a Hunter's Fury picking off 2, leaving weapons to be recovered as well. The run it back used, Larocque catches it with the ultimate, steps in, kills the teammate, waits for the ult, and finishes out with all 5. A generational play from this man. 15 is the highest kills on the server, except for him, who's on 27 on the deadlock. Not someone you expect to see drop in the 30. Of course, he is someone, but not an agent that you expect to see drop in the 30. Although, maybe he won't. Lovers Rock and Kraven already down. That's a big start for EDG. Remember, the last round was an eco. And a res online as well. There's plenty of safety nets for this defense.
To be honest, though, I'm looking at... Oh, Rose getting 1. But also, Larocque still standing. Rose, in fact, gets another. Okay, maybe an unexpected hero in this round. He's been having a bit of a rough game, but to bring it back, even once again, Yenny, though, re-aggressing with his teammate. Rose has been spotted, looking to almost be the hero on his own in this round, but he's dealt with, and Gianni, okay. That's a wake-up. 4 kills for him now. It seems like we're just creating a highlight montage.
Yeah, it very much does. Whose turn is it next? What a play by Gianni. As you said, he had been a little quieter compared to that previous map, but...
yeah.
Oh, that's one way to wake up. You think about last map, nobody found a clutch, and all of a sudden he was playing the game again, found his rhythm. It'll be the same for Gianni. 3 rounds behind. But on the defensive side, you know, finding your footing. We saw it from BBL, 4-0 down, and then they dominate once they crack the code. This is dangerous, but a TP at least available to get out of there. Never mind. Concon's being deleted right away. Overstayed is welcome.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's almost like the opposite of what we're talking about with Larocque. Like, you kind of expected him to struggle a little bit more on the attack. I expected to see a lot more coming out from Concon on this defense, but let's be real, he's been missing.
Wyatt here, he'll be brought back into the round, given a second chance, a second lease of life. The B site, I was going to say given up. Jenny has taken the TP from the shadows straight to the B site. Sat on the back, he's going to be caught immediately. He was shot, caught by a drone, hit by an ult as well from Larocque.
Yeah.
Couldn't even make it into the cocoon because they took him out so quickly. A 5 versus 4 now, and the retake needed for EDG.
Yeah, this is a chance to sit them right back down. After a big round from Gianni already, the swing coming back through, clearing back, but Loiter adds another to the pile. Nobody's at least done well. Bladestorm and the Judge are definitely going to be difficult to break through, but that time has been ticking now. Still 4 players within this site, and maybe EDG can make this a very costly round by locking them in, but I don't think BBL are really going to care that much. They've got some spare credits they could still purchase, and it's actually more damning if the defense were to lose all their weapons. Instead, though, nobody cleaning up alongside Loiter for the other side. And an 11th round now for BBL, and everybody goes down on EDG. I'll be honest, I don't think that was worth it.
No, maybe not. I mean, it looked damn close to being a clean and clinical closeout. They could have had all 3 players left alive with nobody having that quick 3K. But Loiter just did a little bit too much at the end. Kept Phoenix in position, stopped that rotate through market, so he's got to go through main, and instead, because he doesn't have the time, he's caught by the spike. Big damage done. G struggling now to put the credits together. A couple orbs found, nobody, but he's still 3 away from the Hunter's Fury, and there's not really any positive to write home about for this defense. Yes, the AWP in Concon's hands, but he's been slow. He's not been hitting the way that we know he can.
Get to see that superstar value.
Moved and shot at the same time there. Very uncharacteristic.
Oh, trying to slow them down on the other side. Concon has to escape. Nobody's getting shock darted into oblivion. He's almost dead off that. And now Chichu under pressure. And well, he's at least had a teammate save him. Healed back up at least a little bit. Loiter's done well once again. Concon's found absolutely nothing, and Chichu becomes the man who has to deal the damage, and it is only the one. A flash here, not going to hold any value with still being walled off. With a long rotation coming back. Look at the gun Jenny has as well. That is not the gun you want in a retake.
Well, unless you break that door and catch a guy up close, completely unaware. Previn is here, patiently waiting. And now he's been spotted. This is a little bit dangerous. Dodges the flash up close, though. Great work, and Loida comes through to help out. Larocque as well. Yeah, they realized Krevin's in danger, and they came to his aid.
Did that flash make it out of the smoke?
I'm thinking now that I see the screen get slightly blinded. It might have went behind him, or it might have stayed in the smoke. I think it might have stayed in the smoke.
Yeah, that was my thought process as well, because I not sure Loiter did touch that at all. I
thought he stepped close enough that it went behind him, but yeah, now seeing it again, I don't think he even got blinded temporarily.
No.
Or partially.
And I do think that Signed did get blinded, which seems impossible unless it was still in the smoke. But, you know, only partially blinded. I think you could still see as he came out. Lover's Rock, though. This map has delivered on the side of BBL. We said that they might struggle when it comes to this attack side. It's been anything but. Larocque is having one of those performances once again. This is a man that, if you are a fan of BBL, you're probably a fan of Larocque. And if you don't like BBL, you probably hate Larocque because he is horrible to play against. Well, already waiting, even just taking the flash. This one did land.
Oh, he's under pressure, but Signed is delivering the super sub for 2. They've got a 5-round lead, though. You can see BBL are feeling
they
a
definitely
little
didn't
too
choke one
confident.
of those in the last map.
Yeah, it's not like EDG have been streaking around, so why not? Give them one. See what happens. Make it interesting for the viewers at home. Now, it's a little brazen for sure, especially against the low buy. I mean, just straight up a mistake, but wanted to close it with style. And now, hard work, sweat and tears to get them across this line in round 20.
EP potentially being set up. Wall has gone down, and that leaves Chichu isolated. Already getting caught up. Of course, has the heal, but it's not going to save him too much. He's also been pinged. Well, that makes it a lot easier. An opener into the site. Loiter taking some close ground, and with the weaponry still in favor of this attack side, they're going to re-aggress alongside the ultimate. It is a slam dunk for BBL, who will take map number 2. Both teams winning their map choice.
Yeah, we got to say...
Or opponents, I should say.
We got to say sorry to anybody out there who was hoping to see a blowout in favor of EDG.
For generations, Argentina worshipped El Diego.
We are pushing the
single important frag that there has to be, but the mid split begins once again. Cushy getting the pick onto his but Timotino stuck in B main. Vora denied.
Previously been banning, so whenever a team does that, you have to ask the question of, are you actually that well prepared on this map where you just kind of scrim demons a little bit? And this is what it felt like. They come in with this kind of interesting looking comp, you have to say. It's something new and something different, but I don't think they were really fully prepared for what BBL were doing, and it felt like they were always behind the 8-ball a little bit.
I also think that for this side of EDG, if you think that you're playing in with a sub, you are not very sure of your chances, that can also be a way to prepare yourself for what you're trying. Ascent is a very important map, and is the kind of one that you want to get some reps on, and this kind of situations do happen often.
No, they definitely do not, as Again, a huge victory here for BBL, the third qualifying
अबे
team
यार
out of
fuck
the
मेरा mic
EMEA
ही बनता
region,
bro
taking down
कोई
the
बताने
most
वाला ही
recent third place finisher at Masters
अब
London.
थर्ड मैच
And when we
डिसाइड
think
होने
about
जा
the
रहा है
gameplay here
साला
for EDG,
RRQ का चालू है तब तक RRQ का आ जा देख
Drone's going to come in and tag him, but nothing really to follow from that.
Yeah, once again for RRQ, it's a little bit one-dimensional. Very clear where they're headed, and 100 teams are rotating accordingly. They're quite happy to play retake B with the Cypher setup in play. Dash active, in goes the Sage.
अरे अब नहीं म्यूट है भाई अब बोल रहा हूँ
Well, Paranoia's exchange on both sides do give both teams pause for door, but in comes the run it back and the curveball from Asuna. Bang trying to turtle inside of the site here. Timotino's arrived to the party, and it's another flood and a shutdown from a...
अला ये लोग 2 घंटे बाद चालू किया
him play in the deadlock, but you also need to think about the comfort of the rest of the players. You see the Rose with the Sova and the impact that he can have in scouting those plays, especially something that we saw in the attack in that second half. But the same goes for Kreven. When he's on the defense and he's with the Cypher, he's in his comfort zone. So as we said, yes, it started off with a 4-0 deficit for them, but they bounced back immediately, 7-5 at the end of the half, and then close in the map like that.
Yeah, let's take a look at the highlights from that last descent. That brought us to 1-1. As they've all said, it was a hot start here for EDG. BBL battled back, pushed it to 7-5, and really never felt like EDG got their footing in the second half.
Yeah, it started off, as we're saying, super strong. Kankan, as you were saying, Morgan getting this first kills. Honestly, props to Signed as well. Like playing a Phoenix in this map against people that shoot this hard must not be easy at all. But to me, again, I have to keep highlighting Larocque. This is such a risky thing that they do, because in so many occasions it is at the cost of how incredibly good he is. It is good to see that he can have a performance where he can put a 29-11 because you are Larocque. He's done it with so many agents in so many other maps, but at some point it ends up taking a toll, because only one person can be proficient with every agent. And that player is in PRX.
Yeah, hopefully we might see them later on today.
For now.
Hopefully. But I mean, I think for me, this game really is just a story of EDG overcooking a little bit. You know, I respect trying to be able to pick your permaban. It gives you tremendous flexibility and surprise factor in the veto. I think BBL would have been very surprised to have to play this Ascent, but ultimately, to me, I just didn't feel like EDG were well prepared enough for everything that BBL were able to bring. And in that second half especially, BBL should struggle on attack a little more with that Cypher deadlock.
You think so, yeah?
It's you know, it can be good in that post plant, but it's hard to get into them against a team that in theory should be able to stop you. They should have the chamber on a line. They should have Sage slows in your face, and EDG just weren't able to find the answer.
Do you remember I was telling you about, Rose in map 1 not putting in the numbers, and this is something that happens a lot. Think about the mid-round calls that we were seeing throughout that attack, the rotations, the change of plans right in the middle of the round to have the effect on your opponents. All of those, most of those must be coming in from Rose. We hear here a lot of screaming coming in from BBL, and you can tell that they're giving their everything.
Yeah, and again, I just think about that last round where you get 2 picks early on for EDG. It's a 5v3. BBL able to execute their way around that one, and that's part of it. I think not only were the calls great, as we see the picks that Signed was able to pick up there, but it was also just the guns were online, and EDG kind of fell asleep a little bit more. You love this from the youngest team here at EWC at 19 years and 10 months average. BBL showing the resilience, and this is what I wanted to see from them coming into the tournament. Be fearless. Don't worry about the stakes. The more that you're just like, hey, this is just a game, we're just loading in the lobby, doesn't matter who's on the opposite side, the better they've been throughout the year, and they show it yet again here in their opponent's map pick as well. It's just a short memory, and then you're back on in as the competitors as they are.
Now, I said it at the start of this match, I want to see them be disrespectful to EDG, because that's when they're at their best. They're at their best when they truly don't care who they have to play against. This is a young, exciting squad, and they believe they can be the best in the world, and I think they showed it in this map too. And it's also, we have to say, great composure, bouncing back after a map 1 that really was theirs. They had everything they need to win it, but they couldn't. Those games are often the most tilting, especially for a young squad, so respect for the bounce back, and who knows what's going to happen on Sunset.
I'm never scared about them like feeling the pressure because they're playing against bigger opponents, because that has been their entire year. They knew that the moment that they made it into tier 1, they were going to to go up against all the big names in EMEA, making it to the first global event as well at the beginning of the year. That is something that they're already over. I want to see if now that can translate into getting some wins.
Well, we'll find out here in our third map. We're going to Sunset, everyone. Don't go anywhere. You are watching EWC 2026.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower.
अच्छा, अब समझ आया इसलिए आपने अभी तक अपनी प्रीमियम पर्सनलाइज्ड कुंडली नहीं बनवाई है, क्योंकि हमारी कुंडली में आपको इंप्रेस करने के लिए झूठी बातें बिल्कुल भी नहीं मिलेंगी। पूरा सच मिलेगा, तो हो सकता है कि आप कुछ ज्यादा ही रिलेट कर जाओ। और आपने नोटिस किया होगा कि कई सारे ऐप्स में फ्री कुंडली, फ्री चैट विद
Every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
हेलो दोस्तों, मैं आ गया.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Paris for EWC 2026 Valorant. Our first series is going L and EDG. Tigon here alongside Kukuka and Big Time. And we're going to Sunset. This was something we were talking about in our prep of like, Sunset? Like, it's back in the pool? Is this for real? And here in the first series, we're going to it in the decider.
It's exciting to see this map back in the pool, and it's always interesting at how it affects these teams, right? A lot of teams like to play veto chicken with it, where no one wants to pick it, but you leave it to flow through the veto, and then someone has to second phase ban it. That's how it normally goes. You'll see that a lot as we move throughout this tournament. But I love both of them really played chicken all the way to the end, leaving it for this map 3, maybe not even thinking it would have to go here. And now we have to see what they've got prepared. So early on in this tournament.
Bear in mind, right? EDG chose to be Team B, right? So they had ultimately the decision to choose if it was going to be whichever the last map was or Sunset. They decided to go for Sunset. Now, for BBL, when they were BBL Pacific, they were very successful with this in this map once they turned into the double duelist, which is something that they brought into the region. And, you know, it was a perfect time to be super good with double duelist. So great for them. Now, the question is, of course, compositions. Because Sunset is a map where, for example, we saw a lot of breach. Yeah. And we are not seeing breach anymore, almost anywhere, by, you know, but maybe some team here and there. So I wonder what compositions we're going to find. Also, with the new Sentinels added into the game, with all the changes that we have seen, it's going to feel like a very different Sunset.
That's true. I think, you know, the likes of Vice, maybe veto could be very effective on this map. I think there's a lot of different ways you can take this. I'd like to see a Neon and a Raze. I want to see aggressive double duelists. These are aggressive
I'd love to see him with
teams.
Neon, yeah.
I want to see them really embrace their own character and their own style of Valorant. Both of them here are able to play that double duelist very, very efficiently.
Teacher was playing Sage on Ascent.
I like Sage on Sunset. I'd be down for that a little bit. I can't lie.
Yeah, so just a couple of stats here. These are some of the least played maps, obviously, for these squads since it's been out of the pool. I think it's only in the teens.
I think it's the maps that has been out the most.
Right. It's only in the teens played here for BBL.
In that game, you know, I think the IGLs take the large amount of that pressure, but it really should be committee. You need your duelist. He's the one in front. You have to know, how are they adapting these setups? This is all about a test of how are you moving on the fly as a team here.
I was going to disagree with you because I was going to say you should know that for your IGL is going to be hard enough as it is to try and interpret all those things. So what you have to focus on is doing your job as good as you can. BBL props out not only the deadlock again, but some Viper, and EDG decides to double down on the same composition we just saw on Ascent.
That's a little bit crazy. Like, okay, I see the logic. I see how the maps can be similar, but they
It's
are
very similar for both of them if you look at the interpretations. Yes, like Kreven is not going to be on the Cypher, but technically Viper is a Sentinel. It will allow them to have way more control, especially over the mid part of the map.
And I worry a little bit for EDG here because they struggled to attack into the kind of double Sentinel hard stop that the BBL had, and now it's going to be hard yet again.
And also, think about all the orbs and all the ultimates that we've been seeing. BBL have to be on top of that starting from the defense.
All right, here we go. Decider map of our first series of EWC 2026. It is BBL and EDG both getting one win, but looking to close it on out. To call it, let's send it on over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you very much, Degon. Yes, it's time to get our third and final map underway. BBL and EDG trading out each other's maps, and now we're all the way to Sunset, Tom. This will be the end of the series. The ideas that they're bringing, I love what I'm seeing on EDG. Again, very similar, as the desk was saying, to what we had on the last map, but this is a very unique composition when it comes to this map. Over on BBL, a little bit more standard, I guess, with the kind of double Sentinel, having that Viper there, quasi. But exactly as I think Degon said.
Who?
The host guy.
That guy.
The one who was talking a bit more than he should
seems
be.
nice.
That guy was talking about, and I'm not sure if it's right, but that it was hard for this defensive side. It was hard for EDG against this defensive side, against, albeit a little bit more of a stopping power comp, and a lot of it was Larocque on the deadlock, which they're keeping here, which I'm very happy about after the performance he just had. Let's see if EDG can crack the code. Already picking up the pace towards this B site. All 5 players in main.
Sensor waiting for them on the other side. Net thrown out, but after taking the orb, they have ground to a halt. Of course, with a snake bite down, you don't really have a choice, but there are already multiple players here walling off the cross, but Larocque, he hasn't stopped. He's still rocking around the clock with everything. He's got 3 players, nearly a 4th through the smoke as well. 2 HP remaining and a chance to maybe even ace the pistol round. He will do it. 2 aces already, and we're only in the first series.
If this tournament was a blank space, he's come in to write his name. The ink is permanent. Unbelievable stuff from Larocque. Perhaps the deadlock main from now on out. He looks unbelievably comfortable. And here, the utility to slow, I like that they threw the net with the snake bites. Sometimes you'll stagger those just to delay, but the idea was catch them and they instantly have to pull it out or the snake bite's going to take them out of the round. And then you can spam in. Didn't catch anyone, but it delayed. And as soon as the snake bite fades, Larocque finds everything. 5 kills under his belt. Stepping towards that ultimate in the very early stages of the round could be very impactful for this squad. But the start from EDG is kind of what you'd expect. Slow as they play for the extremity control and fight for those orbs. As Kukuka said, this is a big part of BBL's defense, will be denying those orbs from finding their way into the hands of EDG. When this composition has so many powerful ultimates.
Already seen them manage to do an immense amount of damage with just pistols, so they do have to be careful. However, this time, Lovers Rock, Larocque even with an extra little bit of spam. He's now 1 away from his ultimate, and Rose is on the climb to get towards his. BBL 2-0 comfortably. And now we wait to see what EDG have got prepared on their attack.
Well, this is definitely where things are set up decently for EDG. They found a few orbs onto Signed already. You can see he has 2 deaths, yet 4 orbs, which means he's been finding some around the map in each round. Now you move to the next one. If you can just find those orbs again, or get one and get the kill in the opening, there is an opportunity for that run it back online, post-plant or pre. Reminder of the score of the previous map, 13-7 is where we ended. It's not the score right now because we wouldn't be playing anymore, so keep that in mind.
He is telling the future. Probably not. Kankan already managing to things into a decent position already, though. Lovers Rock being set up with an operator might not necessarily be expected in this round. Creven gonna put himself into the corner. That's as easy a kill as Creven will get. All
ceiling that's seen him anywhere near the floor, and his floor is still bang average. The ceiling is so much higher. Don't worry, BBL haven't had this one just yet.
Premonition.
The future.
We do it backwards. We tell you who's going to win the round, and then we show you it. Even though in the last round it was wrong. But, you know, you can't always get premonitions right, you know?
That's
true.
You
go to a Mystic Meg, and sometimes they'll say, you know, are you missing someone with the first letter of their name being M, and then maybe the second being M, and you go, no, unfortunately, he's still here. You didn't see where that was going, did you? Thanks, Mitchell
really
McBride.
Yeah. Well, Tom's just bodied me to start out this round. That's fantastic. First pick, first blood, me. As we move towards the A site, a little bit of a split here from Chichu. Spike spent back in the other direction, but it's Chichu cutting off the rotations. No one's challenging him from the left side as well, but Creven's got the angle on lockdown. Now moving towards A. These players have lost the second leg of their attack. The smoke that went down on short for a moment kept that player back, but now we see him walking forward, looking for the battle.
Running out of time, and well, so many angles left unclear. One of them is still that backside. They're doing well to fight this back, though. Nobody doing a fantastic job, but there is still the judge in the darkness, sitting, waiting, biding his time. Lovers Rock is going to clean things up. A costly round, and there you go. See, I told you.
That's
Premonition.
This is the problem sometimes, Tom, when I'm rubbing your crystal ball. I see the future. I get visions, of course, but it's like silhouettes in the fog.
Which is better, mine or Clinton?
I haven't. I'll have to do some more research on that.
Due diligence.
More groundwork there, and we'll get down to the nitty gritty of it a little bit later on.
Rapid with the comms. He's definitely getting into this one, of course. We know that this group's going to be tough. EDG have already shown that you give them even just a little bit, and they're able to start coming back. And Lovers Rock, he just loves to stick around just a little bit too long. Maybe that's what the name actually means, because he loves to be a rock, stay in the same place.
It could be, yeah. I would say it's almost definitely what it means, Tom.
Good. I'm glad we're in agreement.
So, let's never ask him. Way to go about this. Drone destroyed. They haven't seen Larocque in that close corner still. Paranoia has gone out, but still they're not pressuring him. He's behind the wall. Now the vision comes back and he's ready to fight. Finds himself 1, 3 in the end. This guy, unbelievable performance all series long, and he's done it again, man. You just can't doubt him. They hit that Paranoia to deal with him, but the Viper Wall gave him enough room to just wait it out.
It's just, he's got some of the shakiest aim, but like it's so accurate in the way he does it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Insanely high sense.
Most of the stuff he does. 9-1. As I said, we're in the first series of the entire tournament, and this man already has 2 aces. So I think it kind of tells you the form that he's come in. One of the brightest sparks in Turkish Valorant. Still incredibly young. There is a massive career ahead of Larocque, no doubt.
से वो chocolate भी नहीं टूटा भाई
most of them.
Wow, that's just brutal. wow. That was
hey,
no
Angel
need.
lasted a long time, actually, to be fair.
No
Rose can probably go till he's 40.
Rose is like 23. Like,
Ancient, man.
He's up there, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely the same age. I'm not like 8 years older than him.
What you're not knowing at home is Tom did just shed an actual tear. I've just seen it hit the table.
No, that's sweat from the bald head.
Polish it in between the series. Well, EDG picking up pace towards the B site. Run it back is online. Need to break that wall first, and then Phoenix is going to come sprinting through. Delayed the play, though. It's delayed them way too much, so the guys in market, they get isolated, dealt with, deleted, and now Sign doesn't stand a chance. The Hunter's Fury honed in on him. Another round for BBL.
Yeah, they were taking so much damage. I think it was genuinely through their own problems, because they put a wall down to section off the angle they could get caught from. Then they just get absolutely owned by the snakebite, holding them into the corner, and then they start getting spammed out and obliterated by Rose. 5-1. This defensive side looking impeccable thus far from the side of BBL. And we're yet to see some of those superstars on the other side really wake up to the table. Chichu was one of the major reasons they were able to get through map number 1 with a victory. He's yet to get a kill.
But remember, he was missing, and then he was found in a big way
on map 1.
I have to hope that it's the same story here, and not a more tragic ending. A little bit of damage traded out. This isn't a strong round for EDG, so of course you're going to send your headhunter to try to find some picks. Chichu's got the rifle as well. As you said, slower game for him, but they clearly still believe after what they saw in the first map especially. Second.
Not ready yet.
But the problem is they're pushing in, still a minute on the clock, but they have to get past Loida. Paranoia is going to buy time. Smokes are online as well. That Paranoia was almost way too late. In fact, it was. Jenny managed to slip past. Luckily, though, Rose is finding 4 people in A main. Big picks across the board, and Chichu, really? I really didn't think he'd put the rest through, but now it looks like a great idea. He's tagged Lover's Rock to 28.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of desperation, but if they can make it work, they can make it work. Lover's Rock desperately low, but they've only got 25 seconds of the flank coming through from Larocque. He does go down eventually. Chichu with no friends left to play with. And the cross is definitely not going to be easy. He's got 15 seconds. If they just tuck in the corner and don't just wait for him to plant, there really is nothing he can do from this scenario, and that's exactly what Kraven does. It is another round onto the board, a little bit shakier in the middle. But again, we're seeing the step up of the IGO. We mentioned it. He has a couple of bad maps, and then you see what this man could do. An impactful 4K. And I believe that, I don't know if it does or it gets him very close. He might be on the same kills at this point as Larocque.
Yeah, there you go. 10-3 from Rose. And you look at the first map,
the
guy was only killing people from behind. Yep. He was struggling even then, missing a lot of shots. Like, it looked messy. And we talk about the value he brings even when that's the case. Oh, that's brutal. Concon looked like he was far enough forward. Great sidestep coming through from Loida. And he's made the team P up top. Lover's Rock finding one in mid, and Loida's even re-smoking this. They're not going to expect to be here. That's not an ideal fight for Lover's Rock. They've just gotten the man advantage back in the neutral territory. B-side certainly looks under threat. Clem's trap. He's been taken by the collector.
It's back. Leave it even, but Rose once again strikes LaRock in the corner. They're walking backwards into his angles as if he needs the help.
Wow.
And nobody. Oh, he's got to try and sidestep, and he will.
Buddy.
I don't even think he's going to have any idea that someone could be here so soon.
Oh.
Not quite the cleanest, but he had so much time to find that kill. 7-1 from a very close first map that could have easily gone BBL's way to what is looking like a dominant finish. 7-1 in the lead, and I'm yet to really see anything that makes me believe EDG are going to turn this around.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Again, we talked about EDG with the stand-in. That definitely knocks them down a peg. But for BBL, in my mind, you're looking at the first map slipping away like that. I think it's already over. They bounce back to a relatively dominant map, too. Like 13-7 is nothing to turn your nose at, especially not against EDG, especially not on their map pick. And now they come into this one, and it looks like Rose has got some performance enhancements. Like, I don't know how he's bounced back this quickly, map to map. Same stage, same setup, but a different man, it seems. 7-1 now for BBL. EG struggling to get off the starting point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the next game we see them, if they might go back to the comp from the first map. Obviously, that was clearly based on just it being a stronger map for them, but we're yet to see the signed Phoenix show too much. But also, it's more so the other players. Like Chichu was great when playing Omen, has struggled elsewhere. Gianni as well. Haven't really seen too much from him on the Omen. Maybe a swap will have to happen, and well, it seems like speak into existence. Chichu's gone again. Lover's Rock, okay. He has been caught. His mid pushes haven't had too much success. A little bit hit and miss. Dead though. EDG have got it even, but you look at the ultimates that are online, and they've got to be careful they don't end up walking into LaRock.
Finding his way behind A, hoping to catch this player on the right side of mid, but there's no one there. It's a very passive play from LaRock, the sensor. They could have walked past it, but they didn't want to risk taking a fight with it online, but it does give the indication that maybe there's a bit of trouble brewing for Loida. So he goes running up, takes that space, and now regroups with his teammate. A nice adaptation to being surrounded like that. And now they can pincer from both sides on the retake. That's very early.
I think it's just to have it primed and ready. Oh, it's not pretty. He's caught the ult. That's not ideal. I like that from nobody. He's even going to break it free, but instead now Loiter strikes. It's a quick, well, doubles technically. But it's more so just the impact that it had. Another resurgence in a round that looked like it could have gone the way of EDG, and instead they survived with 3 players.
That looked like a really good idea from EDG. The openings were there. The TP for the flank up, the split through mid. I understand why they break the sensor, because again, if that player peeks and you're stood there, you fire one shot, you are dead. Both of you, you're getting stunned up and gunned up right after. And so instead they break it to run through. But that's when immediately Loida goes, oh, they're behind me. Well, I can't just stand here and wait. I can't even go spawn to retreat. Gotta go forward. And, well, it worked wonders. 8-1. I'm going to scrub my eyes to even believe what I'm seeing. BBL winning this series was on my cards. It was possible, but not like this on a third map as well. Yeah. Still plenty more rounds to play with, but EDG need to find their footing extremely quickly because they are slipping, and it's a long way down.
Denied by the early utility once again. Weaponry is not great in this round. They found some space for Kankan in mid, and the Rock playing on the edge of the smoke. Definitely risky, but a risk that pays off. No trade from Jesse. He's still in the smoke. They still need to clear him. But surely they're not expecting him to be anywhere near this close. Instead, he goes swinging out. A second kill in a spot that looked like a death sentence. And now the operator honed in on the angle. Gianni with a 1v3 clutch, and he stands no chance. BBL continue their run, and it's looking like it's going to go all the way to the finish line.
I can't believe this. Every round I say it, and every round I find myself back here again. How is LaRock getting this much impact. He seems unkillable in the first few fights. Everything's working for BBL. Rose has entered another gear, even with LaRock showing up. He's still just one behind him. And for EDG, everyone's gone missing. Chinchu is putting out belters, 4Ks, everything you want. Concon's had more than a few rounds where he was dominating. And yet, this attack side has been quiet. Even as hopeful as I was about the comp, they've lost 2 through the wall. And there's no stopping BBL. The push continues.
Pushing up to 10.
That round took about 15 seconds. That was one of the fastest rounds I think I've ever seen. That was just a full all-in fight. And they dominate it. The initial from Loiter. And then they just continue their aggression. And this has always been the most terrifying thing with BBL is the moment they're confident, it's not like they then go, okay, now maybe we play a bit passive. No, they keep running and gunning. They keep taking riskier and riskier plays, and they all pay off. 8 rounds in a row, looking for an 11-1 defensive side half. And unfortunately, it feels like EDG might have used all that energy in map number 1.
Hunter's Fury sent through here from EDG, a desperate attempt to open the round, blind fire, nothing found, and the judge is still in the corner. The smoke up from Loida. He's seen 2. He knows there's danger. That's a risky res with the judge still in play, and they'll find themselves more than a few. A 3 versus 2. After that initial fight, the ult at least sidestepped. LaRock won't be finding one, but he will box them in with that wall.
They at least know he's behind, but looks like him and Kraven are almost setting up the joint. Lovers Rock. But finally deciding it wasn't worth the risk. Know exactly where their opponents are, and even them just trying to try and clear some of these close angles. The problem is the second player is ready for the contact, ready for the swing, and in the end it is utter domination. A singular round. It was only their bonus round that they lost. Every other round in the half has gone the way of BBL.
Hard to really believe the series we've had so far. For BBL, Ascent, like we said, EDG picking it seemed like a mistake. You're coming up against the Turkish team. It could have been what sent this 2-0. And honestly, looking back, maybe EDG would have preferred that. Lose the overtime and save yourself the embarrassment here on a final map known to be good for them in the past. Obviously, it's not been around for a while. And it looks like a lot has changed. The Viper wall is so annoying towards B main. It's burning utility or burning the clock as you take main control. The deadlock seems to always be in the right place at the right time. And then Rose and LaRock, I don't know if we need to check their PCs if we've given them access to the internet in between these games, because they have shown up on another level.
Well, yeah, I think there's been nothing missing from this BBL performance. Got players popping off across the board. You've got utility perfectly placed to just create disruption. I think we've had a load of paranoia assists. Flanks have been perfect. I think all of the Viper utility as well. Like, okay, maybe not the most kills Kreven's ever going to have, but every single time they try and do a faster execute in towards the B site, his snakebite just delays, and then they have the operator there. Like, think about the kills that Lovers Rock has had. It is, okay, my teammates have held ages on this side of the map. I'm now here with an operator just to end it. He has been just as annoying as everybody else, and unfortunately, it just feels like there's nothing to break through all of that utility on the other side. There has been no player that can dive in. The Phoenix hasn't worked. The later Lux, even though we have seen aggressive rounds, at times, they can walk into Concon's angle and seemingly eliminate him. It has been uncharacteristic, and yeah, sure, we've got the caveats. We know that this is a squad that has weaknesses, but I don't think we ever expected it to just be this dominant.
Not at all, on any map, to be honest. Like, coming here to Sunset, it felt like even with the stand-in, we're going to have a fairly even to favored fight for EDG. That timeline is utterly ridiculous. 11-1. LaRock 17-5. Rose, more importantly, 16-4.
Well, look at Loiter. 12, 5, and 16 assists. Yeah. And a lot of those are paranoia, by the way. It's not like, oh, they walked through a smoke and I got... No, he's actually
got a few of those, but it was a lot of paranoias, yeah.
A lot of paranoias in the early setup of the round. Now all they need is this pistol. That's it. Pistol round. It will be EDG having to force. Well, I guess even if they win the round, they are going to force. But yeah, no matter what, and they will need a flawless defensive side.
Oh, they're certainly not in a rush. Towards Concon now. The slide forces him back. See the confidence, not quite there to stick around, and as Rose takes one, the sneak up by Signed at least evens the playing field somewhat, if not for the fact that Rose was in a known position, right? He closed the door. They know that he's here, but this fight could change the game. It could bring them back towards B. He won't win it at least to start. It's a staggered fight as you can see Chinchu just running away. Rose in the back lines, but no one left on the site now. The plank can be found, and now look at the whole team trying to deal with Chinchu. They've crunched him to leave Signed alone, and guess what? They know where he is, or at least where he was.
Unfair ask, but it's a necessary one. He needs to clutch this. He's at least managed to get the first. Looking to try and maybe just defuse this behind the box, or at least bait them into thinking that he is. Already, though, it's being watched, waited for. Next one goes his way as well. A chance for the stand-in to pull off the clutch, and Signed will keep them in the map. The coaching staff pulls off a massive 1v3 and gets EDG their second round.
Well, I'm sure he's had a lot of game plans they'd attribute to victories, but that one right there, that's got to be the highest impact he's had. Crazy round from Signed. The super sub sneaking up inside B main and taking a 1v3 across the line. And yes, there were mistakes there from BBL. They got lost in the sauce a little bit. But still, for Signed to capitalize on those opportunities, he set himself up as the top fragger now for EDG, but one good round's more than enough for anyone to do that. I don't know.
It's the smallest of lifelines, but nonetheless, it is a lifeline. It's something to play around. It's a hope that they can maybe do something in this game. But realistically, gonna have to be quite the streak of rounds from here onwards. Of course, for BBL, no reason to overinvest or put too much into this round. You have such a mammoth lead. A chance, maybe, to put some pressure onto Signed.
Up the one, they're still ready to fight up close. And in return, they've landed one of their own. Lovers Rock and Krevin, the ones to come out ahead. The pistols not dead in the water just yet, it seems. And a very late lurk from Rose outside this A side. It's gonna be a crunch, but it's Concon that you're up against. And he's found the first. Rose a little ahead of the pack. Don't think has been heard just yet, but
किया है भाई इसका reaction time बहुत fast है.
They've cleared every other angle that it could possibly be, so they know exactly where they're going. Gianni's already going to drop the spike, and now the only last man standing is Krevin. He's still going to make this even more costly. Still, to win this is going to be difficult, but an isolated fight, time ticking down, and Gianni will save the day.
7-3.
It's not a round they should have needed a savior.
7-3 हो गया chat.
They need many more as this game goes on, if it goes on. Feels like a matter of time for BBL, and look at how much they were able to do here with just pistols in their hands. It's a scary prospect for EDG to struggle this much, to be down by this much. We don't just need to see them win up against this full buy, where, by the way, they're coming in with a lot of disadvantages. We want to see them dominate. They're putting credits on the line. 3 players unable to rebuy in the next, and ult online here and now, though, for Signed. The problem is looking at the map. It seems he's on the wrong side. And if they can bait that out, be a big piece removed early on. That was dangerous. Concon's left on 5.
I'll at least get the heal. Armini gets to live to fight another day. Nobody trying to just jump spot, but do look like they're going to try and split back towards this B site again. It is being watched by Gianni, and Start at least might give the game away, but Paranoia leaves him in an awkward spot. Counter to try and slow down the attack, as he does have a teammate in tow, but Kreven's aggressive positioning is going to make this problematic. In fact, it's going to end the round in his tracks.
That was the main way back through for EDG. They were bringing Signed into position so he could play in the spawn and pop that ultimate, run back through, lead the charge for the team. He gets popped like that by Kreven, threading the needle through market, and it's done. You would think. Because they invested so much. And still with the Phoenix ult, it's a 2v4. You're not winning this round. And thankfully, they're walking away. I got very scared seeing them closer and closer to the side, but save needed.
Like at this stage, you're 11-3 down. I wouldn't have even blamed them that much for just throwing into the wind. And like they won a 2v4 in I think it was on Lotus. Like they're so far out of this map that I feel like even just letting them get to 12 feels like a death sentence.
The problem here, Tom, is that like I
12-4 हो
agree
जाएगा
with you entirely. Like I could have seen.
हमारा भी 8:30 बजे प्रीमियर मैच है.
But when you call the save, you can't go looking for picks. What use is a pick for you now? Oh, they've got a little less money. They can buy so many times. You can't. Why would you do that? Anyways, that's a big mistake. And EDG now have one rifle carried forward for a round they didn't even try to win. That's tough.
Very little. Stand-in has an ult and a rifle. Kankan, I think, will be forced to play just a headhunter into this round. And the opposing side have everything bar their ults. That's the only thing that's currently an advantage for EDG. And, well, just look at the paciness of this early move. Kankan, he needs to win this battle, and he does. That's a gun upgrade, but I was going to say an immediate trade, a labored trade, but it does the job nonetheless.
First part is he instinctively jumps to dodge the spray, but it meant he couldn't TP. So he ends up getting caught trying to hunt down that rifle. So we go 4v4. BBL. Those are the rounds that they've done extremely well in, and it's been threading the needle. It's been sneaking up like that. Rose, the one to do it this time. He's caught nobody. He's trying to embed in a nice spot. They're going to do the same on the other side of the map. Chichu's walking up. He doesn't expect Larocque to be crouched on that corner. That is a scummy play. The ult for Sign will at least find one, but they're on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, they're going to find him. That's the problem. His ult's going to take him right back to where he was, and now Jenny is all that remains. He's just seen a player die on the other side, and because of that, he's going to start rotating towards the B site. But as of right now, Spike is going back the other way. He doesn't even know that he's currently been played. Maybe that's one for free. That at least gives him the knowledge. That's a lot of value found. What was a 1v3 to maybe break the wall before it's truly formed, but will eventually forced to go down with two players waiting on the other side with traps set ahead of him. He's giving them information with every step he takes, every move that he makes, and eventually Larocque is waiting. 13-3, a dominant final map for BBL, and one that will take them further in that upper bracket.
After how close that first map was, Tom, I didn't know what to expect going to Ascent, knowing that it's a home ground for every Turkish player and certainly every Turkish team out there. We knew there was a chance for BBL to win. When they took it dominantly, I didn't even think that that would carry over to this map because we're leaving Ascent, we're going to Sunset, we're going to Comfort for the old EDG, and now they were decimated. BBL warming up into this series and looking red hot in the end. Isn't that right, Dagon?
Absolutely a huge upset victory here by BBL. The youngest squad at EWC pull off an upset against the 2024 champs, against the third place finisher over in London. A fantastic result here as a big one here for EMEA, and the woes for China here at EWC carry over from last year. It is a 2-1 victory for BBL. Welcome back, Dagon here alongside Kakuka and Big Time. And this third map was a shellacking. It was not close. BBL came out firing. We're wondering what would be set up here in Sunset, and it just didn't seem like there was a lot that got going here for EDG, whereas BBL came prepared.
It was very difficult for them to attack, right? With just the Phoenix, you're going up against the Viper, against the Deadlock, especially a Deadlock. There's LaRock, and he's playing like he was playing today. I was saying about taking a toll, but if he's going to be playing like this every single time that he plays Deadlock, so be it.
Yeah, he was fantastic today. I feel like the game plan was rock solid from BBL, where it wasn't from EDG. I think the composition lacks a lot of punch and a lot of ways to break those angles. It's great if you can get into the post plan, but they couldn't. BBL understood what they had to do, which was stand right in that choke, be right in front of that smoke when they come out. There's no way for you to really break through there, and it's over before it even began for me with the Agent Select.
Yeah, I would say rock solid. You know, lovers rock solid. How about La Rock Solid there? I mean, that was you, man.
I kind of like that last one.
Yeah, you know, La Rock Solid.
I kind of like that one. But I think that for BBL, for LaRock, for Lovers Rock, for all of them, even for Loita, the aggressive positions that we were taking, Morgan, you were speaking about disrespecting, not having fear against the opponent or their names that you see on the other side. And that's what we got from the entirety of the match. And this is the BBL that I want to keep seeing for the rest of the tournament. Let's make it semi-final, grand final, all EMEA, 4 teams, 4 EMEA teams in top 4. Sorry,
right.
I'm Delulu.
Well, we'll be back to discuss it here. Standing by right now is Jenny with one of the members of BBL.
And I'm joined with Rose. Congratulations. That was a 13-3, by the way. A bit of a rough start, but all in all, you guys should be very proud of yourselves. Could you talk us through being able to grab back that momentum after you lost that first map?
I mean, like, I will say like that, but my team mates are not gonna accept that, I'm pretty sure. But we lost first map because of me, I think. Like, I just threw so many rounds, like, because I wasn't focused. And, like, we lost, like, in overtime, I think. Yeah. And, like, that was the main thing, like, what we lost. After that, we just did a good talk each other, when, like, in the timeouts. And, like, I was just, I mean, like, talking to myself, like, I have to be, like, more chill, you know? I was just thinking about the map, like, on the game plan too much. And it wasn't good for them, because like they are just shooting very well, and I have to shoot very well also like them, because I just need to give some like reaction. What are they doing on the map? And like that's it. I think like when I'm back, we got the like momentum. You know?
You did. You got the momentum. You closed it out. And although you're being a little harsh on yourself, I want to highlight that this is the second time we're seeing you guys on our international stage this year, but the first time we're seeing you going up against EDG. How has that been like for you? What's the prep been like as well?
I mean, like, every region has a different game style, to be honest. And, like, they are just shooting very well. And, like, if you are playing against them, you must win against them. Like, you need to shoot, like, you need to be focused, like, for your aim, not, like, only your brain, you know? Like, except me, like me also, because I'm the IGL. But, I think we did it today. Like, we did our best about that thing, like the aim, and we won. That's it.
You did.
Sorry for that. But they are a good opponent about that. Like, I think they are just shooting very well, very well. And as I said, if you want to win against them, you must shoot way better than them. Sorry.
Wish you did, because you were able to close it out. But I feel like hearing you as that Turkish team talking about gunpowder and just being able to take these fights mechanically and individually, what do you think allows them to excel so well at being able to shoot and aim the way that they do?
I think it's about the blood, you know, like from us. I mean, like, I have 4 guys in the like team and in the game. Sometimes I don't need to shoot. Like, maybe I'm not talking about Lotus. I have to shoot also, like against them. But like, we were always winning like that. I'm just trying to be their brain when they're playing, you know. They're just shooting for me as always. Like, they're my arms and the brain for the team, you know. And but today, if we need to, I mean, like, if we wanna win, I have to shoot also. And I think I did my best for today for my teammates. And thanks for them to hyping me up after first map. And they're my boys. That's it. Yeah.
And then looking forward to the rest of the tournament. I mean, we're looking at 100 Thieves, RRQ going up against each other. Is there anyone in particular that you're seeing here at the event today that you're going, I really want to play against that team?
Like our group or totally?
Literally everybody.
Okay. I want to play against PRX because I love them. And I think this match is going to be a banger because they are shooting very well also. And like, our game style is similar, you know, that's why. PRX, of course.
Well, thank you so much for your time for the interview. Congratulations on your first win here. We're going to be heading back over to our desk. Digon, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ginny. And Rose, you could
He's
hear
so sweet.
it was very, very wholesome from Rose, saying that he's kind of like Voltron. I am the brain, they are the arms. When they don't have brains, I will do it for them. And it worked out really well there.
I think that he's always been very real about that. He knows that he has. It's not that he is a bad shooter. Trust me. If any of us were to go against him, he would completely obliterate us. But he is very aware that I like this bond that they have because it's very real. He's like, they hype me up. That helps me be in the mental state that I need to be to guide them through these things. And I think that we could definitely see that in Sunset. We know that so many of those plays are simply reckless, but actually, Rose lets us know that it is not. That those kind of things are thought of, and that is the way that you get the momentum going for those crazy plays. When they are working, you are unstoppable.
Like, they're young players. I do think when momentum goes in their favor, they can really start to snowball. That's when you see them start to stand up, really give it their all there. So I think the fact that they were able to get the ball rolling so early, Rose is able to bounce himself back mentally. The boys help him with that. That's exactly the formula that BBL need to follow to go deep all the way through EWC.
Yeah, a huge upset in terms of the standings. It is a 4 seed here in Group A, defeating the number 1 seed, BBL Esports over EDG. Currently right now in Group A, happening on Stage B. 100 Thieves up 1-0 over RRQ. They are currently in the second map, but a big upset, and it just feels really good to have that, because we know that EDG has the potential to bounce back. We know if EDG have the firepower and the championship mentality, but for BBL, you're not sure how they would have reacted if they lost the first series there.
Yeah, especially because the first map was so close.
Oh, yeah.
If they would have lost in Sunset, it would have been completely heartbreaking, because they would have left this day thinking, oh my God, the first one, incredibly close. Could have been a 2-0. And could have been a 2-0 is the worst thing that you can think after a match. The worst. Like, that haunts you for years.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a huge win for BBL. We're starting to prep on stage for our second matchup.
Ooh, I've seen this one.
A great one. EMEA has already won. They're going to win no matter what. In this next one, it is KC versus Vitality. We will set that one up in just a bit. Final thoughts here on EDG's run here in the first match.
I mean, I think it's important that we don't overreact. I think people like to do that. Discs like to do that quite famously as well, me included. So, you know, they are coming in with a sub. You have to lower your expectations a little bit for EDG. And it wasn't all bad from them. I think they showed great mentality in that first map. And there were signs of life in map 2. I think maybe with a few compositional adjustments, things like that, a couple of tweaks, and I think they still have a very real shot of making it out of this group.
We're in a moment in time where EDG is looking to reestablish themselves as the leaders of the Chinese region. Leaders that they were for a very long time. But right now, with all the teams catching up, even with us up, they are going and thinking outside of the box, thinking, okay, let's explore how we want our ascent to be. Let's explore what we're going to do with Sunsets. Yes, these were losses, but they're not bad losses. All of these things are learnings. You come in from Masters London, then you go into this. There is absolutely no better prac out there than coming into a tournament and do what they do.
Right. The practice environment of a match can't be replicated. So your back is going to be against the wall in their next matchup against the loser of 100 Thieves and RRQ. And speaking of VCT China, you think about the teams that have been popping up from the region. Obviously, Dragon Ranger's been there before. XLG is currently up there. We had Wolves just a couple of tournaments ago. So EDG reestablishing themselves with that substitute Insigned coming on in, who had a lot of good moments. It wasn't his fault there over in Sunset. It was Chichu there.
I wouldn't highlight him to be like, oh, he is the reason they lost. Like, they just lost because it was with a sub. I like the mentality, as I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you take the names off, you say who's the sub here on EDG. I'm not sure you're picking Signed out, to be honest.
You wouldn't even know who's playing some agents. You'd be like...
Exactly. So I think that's all you can ask for when you're having to come in at late notice. And I think especially as a sub, the first game you're having to fill will be the most difficult by far. You're having to get used to the match environment, playing with the players. So I think moving forward, I'd like to see him step up a little bit more. Of course, he's the sub, but I don't think it's impossible, is my point. I think EDG still have potential. There's still time. Let's not panic yet, EDG fans.
Yeah, I've got one more thing that we were excited about coming into this game 3, or this map 3, which was Sunset itself. I feel like We barely got to explore.
Yes. I wanted some rounds. I wanted some back and forth. I wanted some crazy things. I honestly expected much more from Chicha, but I think that also the composition that BBL was bringing was so abrasive from the defense. There were very little spaces in the map that EDG could claim for themselves, that they could even establish presence. It's not even having control. It's like showing it. You would show a finger and you have a bullet on it all the freaking time.
Yeah.
And if not, you will shoot, and then someone will appear from a corner and shoot you in the back.
Yeah, that was a very, very fast sunset. A dominant victory here for BBLs. We take a look at the highlights one last time as a huge, huge victory for the EMEA squad. They will be up 2-1 and 1-0 in the group stage. One more win in their group gets them into the bracket stage. A great start there for BBL.
I think for me, this BBL team, if they do manage to make it out of the groups, will be incredibly scary. I think they have that young underdog potential that makes it hard to prep against them, makes it hard to plan, and really, because they're so momentum-based, they're so capable to just show up on any given day. This is not a team you'd want to draw into.
And it's difficult also going into Sunset right now. You do not know what the rest of the world is doing. Yeah, you might have played like a scrim here and there, you know, of course, because the map is coming back and teams have to step up and play the game. But of course, nothing is set in stone. Still, we need to see what is going to be the strongest, and time will tell with that.
Again, loved that round there. That was the adjustment that BBL made when EDG kept pushing on through C, pulling out the judge and stopping it. And that was the surprising thing about the series. It was equal throughout. Never did you feel like either one of the teams were overpowered, didn't belong, until the final map where it kind of felt like a compositional difference on a map that hasn't been played as much, especially if you're EDG.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it for me. I think EDG, I just want to see them go back to the drawing board. Just standardize. I know I said I wanted spice in the comps earlier.
Don't standardize. It's not that way, but it might be some affluent from that, you know? Like, don't listen to him.
No, I just put Kanga on Jet, please. Listen to me.
With that one I agree.
Yeah. Right?
Listen to that one.
Because they tried to cook a little bit with the compositions, but we saw especially the battle op that he was using earlier was just so perfect, right in front of the face of people, still getting the kill. Again, you lose that. That's so many credits that you end up dropping there. As we're going to drop into a short break as we set up the stage for our French matchup, Vitality and Karmine Corp, right after this.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
I can teach you code in Python in just 30 days, even if you've never written a single line of code before. How? Simple. In my 30-day Python using AI bootcamp, you don't learn to code the hard way anymore. You learn to think like a developer and let AI do the heavy lifting. I'll show you how to use AI tools that senior developers are already using every single day. Tools that write code for you, explain errors in plain English, and turn your ideas into working projects fast. Day 1, you're building your first script. Day 15, you're automating real tasks. Day 30, you have a portfolio that actually gets you hired. No CS degree, no coaching institute, no 6-month course. My students, people who were in your exact position, are now working as Python developers, data analysts, and AI automation specialists, fully